Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tower of Saragosa. I just forget which part we're on, but welcome to the Tower of Saragosa, our weekly Fantasy Age live play stream. I'm Bryan F. Irving. I'm from Gethsemane Games and DH9 Radio, and tonight I will be running the Tower of Saragosa, as I mentioned, which is a scenario I've written for the Fantasy Age RPG system by Green Ronin Publishing, our friends over at Green Ronin. If you enjoy the system, do check out Green Ronin Publishing's website. You can pick up Fantasy Age on there. I think they've got a sale on something at the moment. I just forget what it's on. Excuse me. Of course, they might not have by the time you watch this, if you're watching it a year down the line or whatever. But anyway, check it out. It's a great system. We've been thoroughly enjoying it. That's why I've been running this for everybody for about a year and a half now. This is the final section of the first campaign, the Tower of Saragosa, which is kind of a self-contained story. So let me tell you a little bit more about the story and indeed what we're doing today before I introduce our players. So the rule system, as mentioned, Fantasy Age by Green Ronin. The maps are by myself using Campaign Cartographer 3+ by Pro Fantasy Software. The music is by Tabletop Audio, Kevin MacLeod, and the DH9 Radio production unit. Sorry, the word escaped my memory there. The scenario is by myself. Over the course of the last season, or the last couple of seasons, the Company of Light have been tracking down all the places that the ancient mage the old mage Saragosa, who died some 200 years ago, had lived during the course of his life, in order to fill in some blanks on the rather strange story of the man. This story, which keeps throwing up new twists and turns. Thought to be a necromancer, they're beginning to wonder themselves as they've travelled to various places he used to live, and currently are inside the Tower of Saragosa, which was the last place he'd dwelt before he died. Expecting to find a ruin, they instead found a small college of wizards, including descendants of Saragosa, living in the tower. Studying in the library for a night, for a few hours, they were asked to stay, and during the course of the night, they were attacked by strange haunted suits of armour and by a carpet which attempted to smother them. Escaping from the sort of prison-like section of the tower, which was the guest quarters, they found a magical portal hidden in a secret room, a portal that appears to lead to some of the ancient stone circles dotted around the continent. They were also aware that they were being hunted by the other members of the tower, or if not hunted, at least looked for. We rejoin them as they're about to go through a door on the 4th floor leading off from the central spiral staircase. Before we do, however, I'm going to introduce our cast for this evening. So the cast in general will be playing Adrienne, as her player is still unwell and can't join us. The rest of the cast are Sean McGuile as Callan of Highgate, the human knight.
Greetings.
Patrick Heaviside as Gora Clovenhelm, the dwarven priest of Palor.
Hello, and we're on part 8, Brian.
Part 8, well spotted, thank you very much. Excuse me. And Louise Morris playing the orc artist and rogue Mog of the Bright Eye clan.
Hello!
Okay.
That was awkward.
Oh dear.
Mog's become a goblin.
I'm just going to adjust our view, which seems to have gone just a smidge wonky somewhere along the line. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, so as I mentioned, when we left you last week, you had escaped the dangers of the haunted armour and the smothering rug. You'd stalked through parts of the castle. You'd discovered there's definitely a part of the tower that you can't find an entrance to. and you've made your way up onto the 4th floor, I think. The same floor as the
Library.
library, that's correct. You'd also found that secret room that you had been spending a little time in, that you'd rested in. That was down a level from you. But you've made your way up onto the 4th floor, and you were about to make your way, I believe, into through that door. I'm just going to put the vision for those at home over to what the party can currently see. And if you can see a fraction of a room to the top left, that's a room that Mog climbed up the wall to enter earlier in the adventure and then climbed back down. It's greyed out because they can't currently see it, but they know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not on that map.
you're not on that
I'm
map.
on the landing page.
I'm on that map. That's good. That's a start. There's one of us.
I'm also
Hang
not
on
on
a-
that.
hang on a
Ooh,
second. Hang on a second.
Dragons.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've just spotted something on the landing page.
You spotted something on the landing page, right? I'm going to have to go back to the landing page now. What have you spotted?
I can tell people about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Did anybody else see the egg timer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Brian, you did. You put it there.
Yeah, it got flipped over and then it flipped back again and then it ran out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Is that some sort of thing to just like to count down the intro?
Yes, it is.
Oh, right. I thought it was one of those symbolic things like, time's run out for Saragosa or something like that.
No, that was just to count down the intro. Also, when
Right.
you first arrived and we had our customary 20-minute chat before we started, I was... I was actually running a timer before that because I'd given you a time we would start, and I set the timer away so I could, as I was pottering about working on things, I could visually see the time ticking down. So anyway, you're in the you're in the central stairwell, the spiral staircase that runs from the ground floor, not quite to the top of the tower, but it runs most of the way through. You got off on the 4th floor. You can definitely hear voices from somewhere on this floor, but you can't quite make out where they're coming from. And you were about to open the eastern door, I believe.
Right. Quick question, everyone. Should we go ahead with that, or should we go ahead with the plan of just heading down for breakfast?
It's up to you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one because you've been better at planning on this one than I think.
I both really appreciate that from you both, and that scares me no end. Thank you very much. It'll be
Just
my
be
fault if
different
things go
guys,
wrong.
I was going to say, you say appreciate it. What you haven't realised is that this means they can blame you if things go horribly wrong.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If it goes horribly wrong, we can always pull it back from there. That's not an issue.
Okay. If we go through this door, if it's somewhere we're not supposed to be, and there's somebody in there who calls us on it, it's like, oh, sorry, was this not the door to the library?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember it was on this floor. Was it not this door? Which door was it? Could you help us, please? That's what we'll do.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Do you actually need to know which door it genuinely was, or...
Oh, no.
No, we already know that.
It's genuinely to the south.
It is genuinely to the
Yeah.
south, that's right.
But spiral staircase, you get turned around. You know what I mean?
You can do,
Yeah.
you can do.
Lose your sense of direction.
Yeah. Sorry, the same thing happened on my Friday session, the post-apocalyptic game, when I asked one of the players what she was doing in response to a radio call she got from one of the other players, and she went, "I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Could you repeat that?" So I did, and she went, "No, that was in character. I'm saying I'm saying to Jenny, could you repeat?" All right, sorry. Right,
What's
okay.
his name?
Sorry?
What's his name?
What's-
No, his name. It's what?
Who's on first?
It's that little picture of a boy on a blue poster. What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so Garrett, it appears to be you that's about to open that door. So
Yeah, okay.
go ahead and click the little open button, see if the
Ooh,
macro's
okay.
working for a change.
Do I have to click the door first?
Nope. You're within a meter of it, so it should just
Right,
automatically.
I have no open button. What I do have is
Focus yourself.
You need to focus on yourself, so you need to click on yourself.
Yeah, if you click on
Then it should appear across the top line. Yes!
Oh, look at that.
And
Look
it
at that.
worked.
Worked.
Yay!
Can everybody go through it, though? That's the question.
If it's opened, you can,
I
because
can.
what that means is it's actually moved the door onto the Games Master's line temporarily, you see. Okay, so you find yourself in a room that is brightly lit by a fireplace over there. Scattered around the room, seemingly at random, are 3 desks, all of which have various... I'll just check what this is, actually. I can't remember if it's... Bloody hell, that's bright.
Yep.
Like a runner in the night, he was blinded by the light.
Yeah. Just give me a second to turn the insanely bright light down. Okay, so I'm going... Oh, right, okay, believe it or not, the bright light's turned off. That's it on low light. Yeah, that's a touch brighter than...
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, okay, I'm just going to delete that. And there we go.
I didn't see any of that being bright or anything.
You didn't?
I just thought,
It
the
was
room
fine
just
for me as
remained
well.
the same.
Okay.
All I've seen is that the sprite for the fire's gone.
Right, and it wasn't blinding everybody else, just Louise
It
and I,
was
yeah?
me.
Yeah, okay.
That must be the night vision.
No,
It could have been related to my night vision, actually.
I've got night vision as well, or at least I should
Oh,
have.
right. Yeah.
I
See,
have,
we
because
were
I'm a knight.
so happy that the door thing was working that it decided to kick us in the pants by breaking the lighting thing again. I think that might be the coloured lighting that's causing the issue. So I've just put a white light instead of a fire-coloured light. Okay, so you've got 3 seemingly random desks, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a moment. And you also have multiple cabinets, a bookshelf and 2 cabinets in the room, over towards the northern end, and that rug, which I should imagine after your encounter with the rug in your quarters is probably causing some minor concern. Let me just open my master handout, and from there I should be able to find the... If I pan down...
Oh,
No, it doesn't.
interesting point. Even though I managed to open that door successfully, I did get a notification from clock tokens saying I don't have permission to run commands.
Right, well, don't believe a word clock token says.
Fair enough.
It's the Grimer worm tongue of API scripts. It can't be trusted. It's great at doing what it does, but it's a bit of a fibber. It keeps telling you it's not going to let you have access to other API scripts, and as long as I flick the little switch that I did flick, you can do. So, you're in the... that's the handouts for Saragosa's Tower. That's level 4. You're in room 36, so... Yep, exactly what I thought. I just thought I'd best check in case I give you the wrong instructions. So what you see on the desks are handwritten notes. 2 of the desks have a book, the third one's just got a series of loose leaves. All of the desks also have alchemical glassware on them. And there's a strange pungent smell in the room.
Sulfur?
Sulfur is one of the smells, but it's a combination of different things. It's kind of an assault on the senses.
Right. Assault Peter?
Okay, so yes, you appear to be in some kind of alchemical workshop.
Right. Quick glance around. Can we see any more clues? The little scraps of paper.
It's going to take a little bit more than a quick glance around, so give me a perception search from everybody who's doing it.
Right. What I'll say is, Callan, please do keep an eye out to that door to the south, because we thought we heard voices coming from that way. If we see anybody, we immediately start talking about how we're lost.
Okay, no problem.
Yep, fair enough.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the door to the library anyway. But
Yes.
Okay, so you have done a bit of a search and you can find nothing in the room that reminds you of these little notes, these sort of cryptic. Oh dear, that was loud. Yeah, so no, you can't. You haven't spotted any of them, either of you, so far.
Okay, then.
there's a door to the north.
There is a door to the north. Yep. I just wanted to check something myself. Wanted to see if that was. I see. Right. Okay. As long as I know.
Oh, well.
Are you conducting this search quietly, noisily, averagely,
quietly.
quickly? Relatively quietly. Okay, give me a stealth check for everybody, please.
Because we know that there are people next door, basically.
Yes. Okay, so you're attempting to be quiet, so you can all give me a stealth check. That's dexterity stealth. And let me know who got the least.
14.
14.
I was gonna say, I think that's me. Me and Gora seem to get the same,
Okay.
but Gora got 2 stunt points.
Adrian was 17 and 5 points of stunts, though, so is this another group one?
Technically, you're kind of scattered around the. Oh, fuck it, yeah, go on, I'll allow it to be a group one. Okay, so let me just have a roll to see if. So. Oh, fucking hell. Right. Okay, whoever's in the next room, they definitely can't hear you rummaging through the alchemical workshop. You find an awful lot of notes in different hands, but none of them are the notes that you're looking for. That are the sort of ciphers for the rune puzzle. You also find a couple of the alchemical experiments seem to be in the process. So you've got heat under some of them, and there's like bubbling away. They look to be making mana potions, as far as you can tell. On the bookshelf, there's a lot of books about alchemy. There's a book on how to brew mana potions, how to brew healing potions. There's some theoretical works. There's some handwritten notes. There's a set of accounts for the alchemical workshop and the stores and supplies. In the 2 cupboards, there are various reagents that would be required for this job. What you haven't found is what you were looking for. And what you are now noticing, give me a perception hearing test as well, please.
Are any of those handwritings Saragossa's?
No, they all seem to be fairly recent notes from the lack of fading and from the quality of the paper.
Right.
Okay, excellent. So 2 of you have heard. There are raised voices from the next room. You can all hear that at the moment.
North or south?
South. You can
What are they
all
saying?
you can all hear the raised voices. Those of you who got 16 or more, though, could make out parts of what they were saying, and there appears to be arguments being had. You hear somebody say something about, I just find it strange that the first time we have guests in years, all the defences for the tower activate overnight. We've had guests in the past and that hasn't happened. It has to be them. They're the danger that the tower's defences detected. Then you hear a female voice going, I don't think that's what was happening at all. The defences activated in the guest suite first. And then the first voice says, exactly my point. The defences in the guest suite activated because they detected the danger. Whoever these people are, they're not what they're pretending, and they're a danger to us. And then lots of shouting all at once, lots of people arguing. You can't quite make it out, and then you hear what you think is the mistress's voice, sort of trying to calm everybody down. So now we don't know that. All we know is something activated the defences, and as far as we can tell, they were attacked by the defences before anything else was. And again, the first voice you hear him go, exactly, because the tower's defences recognised a threat.
Who's that voice?
You're not really sure. You recognise it from dinner, but you just can't quite place
Male.
which one it was. Male. It's definitely one of the men. Yeah. And then another male voice, more quietly, says, "Yes, but what if somebody activated them?" Yeah, they activated them by being a danger. No, what if somebody in the tower? Look, nobody in the tower knows exactly how to activate some of those defences, and where did the methods come from? Are you an ice mage? I'm not an ice mage. What about you? Are you an ice mage?
The master is.
No, I'm a nasty mage.
You
I'm not
do
a nice mage.
you do hear somebody says the master is, and then it goes completely silent. Like everybody just stops talking. You get the impression that everybody's looking sort of worriedly around each other. Then you hear a female voice again go, "I'll pretend I didn't hear you say that. I'll pretend you didn't just suggest that the master is attempting to kill our guests." And then arguments break out again.
That was a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
My wife prefers fire, I prefer cold.
Yeah. So, what would you all like to do now?
So if somebody's made that accusation and Halia has defended him, he's not in there.
Yeah, good. You would guess.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So where is he?
So what do we do with this point?
I'm really if they're in there having a conference about the very thing we're going to talk about, why don't we go and join them?
Yeah.
You
Just
think,
walk in like nothing's happened. Hello.
Hi guys!
do you want to go back west then south into the library?
Going in through the main door that Gora and Mog have used previously. I'm really in favour of a kind of open-handed approach to this. What do we have to hide? There's clearly, at least the presentation of a minimum of two separate sides in this. Could we detect any deception in what we were hearing? Was that like a pantomime put on for our benefit because they know we're here?
Ooh, it's going to be really hard to tell that with just hearing.
Yes.
But it is possible, because sometimes when people are saying rehearsed lines, you can tell, especially if they happen to be reading it. So give me a empathy check, please. Target number's going to be quite high. Oh, fucking hell, that would be high enough. No, you don't think it was a pantomime. You think at least some of the voices were genuine. There's some you're less certain about. One of the male voices you're not quite sure about. It just had that edge of the gentleman doth protest too much. You know?
The one who kept on repeating about the line of, well, they have to be a threat, therefore that's why the defense is activated.
Yes, that's the one you're not so sure about.
Yeah.
The others sounded genuine to you.
Right, let's head back west, head south, and let's talk to these people.
Yep, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
And
Any objections?
Nope.
How much are you going to reveal of what you know? We're not talking about the secret room, are we, with
Oh,
the
no,
magical
no.
lock?
No, we're not going to sort of dub ourselves in for that, but we'll talk openly about the fact that we were attacked.
hey guys, just after we were attacked, we spent a lot of time sneaking around your home and had a look in here.
No.
Yeah, I can see why you might leave that out.
You might have seen me climbing up the outer walls like some sort of vampire. Don't worry.
Having a
Yeah.
little bit trouble zooming in on these fucking things. To move
Okay,
them
so we
right
want to go
around.
back out this door.
Yep.
Moving the people around.
Ah, that's how you do that. Okay. I do
Well-
apologise if you can hear all the yelling in the background. That's Craig's obviously forgotten that I'm gaming and is talking to Marie from a story of the house away. Okay, so yeah, you can move yourself around. You should be able to open that door as well if you so wish.
Good morning.
Right, everybody just stops and turns towards you and like, the fuck? And then the woman with the red eyes says, "Ah, our guests, are you all well?
We're very well, thank you.
We're very relieved to hear it. Last night something happened. The tower's automatic arcane defenses activated, and as far as we can tell, the defenses in the part of the tower you were in activated first. They can be quite lethal. Is anybody hurt? Does anybody need any help?"
I'm sure they can be quite lethal, yes. I do apologise for the damage to the suits of armour and the carpet. No, we're absolutely fine. There's not a single
Excellent.
scratch on us.
Brilliant. Good.
Where else did defences activate?
They activated throughout the tower, but not the entire tower. When we came looking for you after the alarms sounded, we encountered mephits in
Yes,
several of the galleries.
We met some of those. We met some of those on the road. We met some of them here. Quite easily dispatched. I hope the melted ice and the water didn't leave too much of a mess.
No, that'll oddly enough evaporate after a while. Mephits can be more dangerous as you dispatch them, as you might have guessed.
All the explosions, yeah. Well, yes.
You hear one of the others say, "So, ice mephits then, was it?"
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Only the mephits that... hold on a second, let me just check. The mephits that Saria and I encountered were fire mephits. You can you actually spot that Saria's got a burn on her hand as well.
Checking for deception.
Yeah, make another empathy roll.
Wait, if we wandered into that weird 80s film that Kev likes, about the couple that get that instead of getting divorced, just steal themselves off into separate sides of the house and have massive fights.
There are several 80s films that
Not the War of the Roses.
there's the War...
That's the one.
Right, okay. There's the War of the Roses and the 80s remake of... oh, God, The Money Pit. They do that at one point as well. Okay, it could be, is the answer. It could be something along those lines. So, what did you get? What did you score
15.
with that one? You scored...
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have communication deception as a focus. Is it
Yep.
possible?
I will allow you to use that instead of the empathy focus because if you can deceive people, you can probably figure out when you are being deceived as well. Just going to switch the
Being screwed, Judge of Turkey.
toggle. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so I'll pop the whisper on there so you don't know if I'm rolling or not and what I roll if I did. And of course, neither do I if I don't look at the right screen. Right, okay.
Before I forget,
Yes, go ahead.
There was another thing I want to do.
Yeah.
While I'm talking to them, I know that one of them has a stick/wand in their belt.
Yes.
Most likely as an arcane device. I want to see if I can lay eyes on what other people are using as arcane devices as well.
Okay, so it's Lyra, the one with the red eyes, that uses the wand, which appears to be bone carved, you think.
Mm-hmm.
The others, the two men both have staves, and Saria has... You probably describe that as a rod. It's too large to be a wand, it's too small to be a staff. I can pop that up to show you if you like.
It's not a scepter, is it?
Yeah, you could describe it as a scepter. you could. Let me just.
Does it by any chance match the Ghoul King's scepter?
Well, I'm about to show you it, so you should be
Okay.
able to see it now.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Okay.
With a gemstone on the end.
that's
Wouldn't
right.
like be getting the head with it.
Yeah, it's a canny mace.
Yeah,
Like-
it would make quite a useful mace. You could do somebody some damage with that. Okay, she's the one that has the burn on her arm.
Mhm.
You don't detect any deception, no.
Right. Okay.
The
Looking at her
burn,
with
oddly enough, the burn wasn't there yesterday, but it doesn't look fresh either. It looks like it's largely healed.
right. Okay. Oh, I'm terribly sorry to see you're wounded. Please do let me minister to you before she can refuse,
Mhm.
or if she can. I'll see if she tries to refuse or if she tries to back away.
No,
I'm
she
reaching up. I'm reaching up to do healing touch.
Okay, give it a try.
This is on the one with red eyes.
No,
No.
this is on the one I just showed you.
The purple dress.
Oh,
woman.
sorry. Right. Okay.
Purple dress, crystal mace. Yeah,
Right.
The crystal mace.
the crystal mace. Yeah. Right.
Richard O'Brien.
As
That's not the butler. That's Richard O'Brien, isn't it?
Yes, as you're saying it, Gildane, which is this guy here who looks suspiciously like me when I was younger, so he's obviously a wrong one. He says that there shouldn't be any need. I did that earlier. However, you do manage to, you've managed to complete the heal, so you can see the rest of the burn dissipates and disappears. But you realise the reason it looked as if it was not fresh, as if it had healed, is because it had already received some magical healing. It just hadn't.
Wasn't fully.
You just
wasn't
hadn't done a
full.
decent job.
You don't know how bad the burn was originally. But yes,
I don't recall anybody at lunch saying that they had healing arcana.
no, you didn't. I don't think anybody mentioned it at lunch.
No.
He could have read it
Or
off the
dinner.
scroll. Could
Not-
have read it off the scroll.
Not everybody finished telling you what their arcana were, though. And also, do you really think everybody will have been telling the exact truth
no,
to
absolutely not.
strangers?
This is why I'm just pointing it out in a kind of hand to chin moment. Like, you didn't mention it.
Gildane says, "Oh yes, healing, protection, and healing and protection are the arcana I favour."
Good to know. Very.
Can I get a perception empathy test from everybody in the room, please, when he says that?
He's not lying again, is he?
Or a perception hearing test would actually serve just as well, if you'd prefer that.
It's somebody stood at the back going,
So I just
If he specialised in healing, as only one of his only two arcanas, you'd think he'd do a better job.
Well, you don't know that it's one of his only two arcanas, and as I said, you've no idea how
Well,
bad.
if what he's saying is truthful,
Yeah.
unless he's like an entry level mage, if he's not done this.
No,
for real.
you're starting from a false premise. You've no idea how bad the burn was at the start. If it was 70 points of damage, for example, you wouldn't you wouldn't be able to heal that in one go either. So you're missing a piece of information to be able to tell how good a job he did.
You're exactly right, and thank you for that piece of education.
I just thought it was probably best I pointed out, otherwise you might start to get the wrong impression of how,
It's-
whether or not you know how powerful people are.
That's
Although I
the kind
suppose
of thing. That is the kind of thing that my character would think of. But
Yes,
I
I thought-
didn't think of.
I felt that was probably the
Yes.
case here. Having said that, underestimating a healing mage is probably not the problem. It's when you underestimate people who are liable to throw attack spells at you that is a worry, I suppose, isn't it? Okay, so what did we get? Gora gets just a sense of antipathy radiating off from somebody behind her. And Mog just barely catches.
Behind her.
Yes, you're currently not quite where you appear, remember, because you're currently healing her, so
Oh,
you would be
all right,
there
thank you.
and facing that way, wouldn't you?
Right, that's better.
And Mog, you actually catch Magnus snort and rolls his eyes very slightly.
Okay.
Okay, so the apprentices, who are the ones gathered here at the moment, which is odd because you thought you heard the mistress earlier, but
Yeah.
she doesn't appear to be here, just the apprentices are. The apprentices say, well, we should probably tell the master and mistress that we found you and all is well. They were getting rather... right, one person says concerned and the other person says angry at exactly the same time.
How did you all meet here?
It seemed a sensible central place for us all to meet up. Large room, plenty of places to sit, even though they are actually all standing.
Yeah.
Fireplace, pretty central.
Just going through the antecedents to this, just to what led up to it. You were all in separate parts of the tower, or you were all in the apprentices' wing.
Oh, there is no apprentice's wing.
You were all in your bed. What I'd like to know is how did you all communicate with each other to come here?
Well, we didn't. It's just common practice to meet up at a central point every so often if we're all off and about doing things.
Just for the apprentices to do so, not for the master and mistress to join you.
Well, yes, we were the ones that were sent to find you. The master and mistress just sent us to do it.
You were sent to find us.
Yes.
Oh, right. Well, congratulations, we found you.
Indeed. So we should best go and speak to the master and mistress.
Was the mistress
Yes.
not here a moment ago? I could have sort of heard her voice before we came in.
They all kind of look blankly at one another and shake their heads.
Must be my ears. Can I do any sort of check to make sure nobody's lying there or hiding something?
Yes, I don't see why not. Give me an empathy test.
Okay.
There is a sucking
that's
huge
bad.
spider that's currently abseiling down from our ceiling, apparently to have a look at the game.
Oh.
It's just dangling by my shoulder. It's just large enough that I'd rather it stayed off me.
Yeah.
Is it a sign I should climb up a wall?
Possibly.
How certain are we that we heard the mistress in this room?
Oh, you're not that certain. It was a female voice you took to be the mistress because it said,
Yes.
I'll pretend you didn't just... I can't remember the exact words I used, but something along the lines of, I'll pretend you
accuse
didn't
the
just
master.
accuse the master. Yeah. But it does make you wonder now, if it was a mistress, would she not have said, I'll pretend you didn't just accuse my husband?
Right. On that basis, then, do we know who is whose apprentice?
I think that was mentioned at dinner, so I'll run through it again, because I'm pretty sure they told you. So, Saria, that's purple dress, crystal mace, is Enhalia's female apprentice. Gildano, the healer, the guy with the receding hairline,
And
is
the green knob.
and the green knob is Enhalia's male apprentice.
That's enough. That's all I needed to know.
Right, okay. It does make it pretty obvious that the other two are the master's apprentices.
Yeah.
Apprentices, I think, yeah.
Hang about.
Mm-hmm.
When we first arrived,
Yes.
both gates had an illusion on them to make them look bricked up.
Yes, they did.
Early on, when we were first in the place, we were checking everybody for illusions to see if it was actually Saragosa in disguise.
You were, yes.
Back at the Forlorn Temple,
Yes, God, that's gone back a bit. Go on.
it is, and it's not the last time I'll mention it today either.
Okay.
Back at the Forlorn Temple, there was that insider who got us to go to try to clear out the goblin infestation for them.
Yes.
Was actually a double agent.
An Isles cultist, yes.
Was an Isles cultist. What was she capable of doing?
Illusion spells.
God, now you're
Illusion
asking.
spells.
Illusion and fire, I think, were her too.
Illusion is what I'm thinking of because there were illusory guards, and at one point, didn't she go invisible?
Yes, she did. Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to check for somebody being invisible?
Yeah, probably. There's a couple of ways I can think of. Is there any way you can check, however?
Right. So there's no like standardized way of trying to pierce an invisibility illusion.
I'm not carrying any flour.
I was going to say my personal favourite is just to fling flour into the air. Because then it settles on the outline of the person. Thank you to my grandfather for trying that many, many moons ago when I was a young games master. And it finally clicked when he did it why his characters always bought a sack of flour and took it into the dungeon with them.
Sadly, I have no flour, but I've got plenty of cheese. Salt! I've got some salt.
Salt might work. Would also have the advantage of getting in their eyes at the same point. And that stings a wee bit. Not as much as vinegar, though, if you're interested. I once got vinegar in my eye, and that's very painful.
Yeah, I've got vinegar in my eye before. It's like made the mistake of using vinegar in a spray bottle.
Just chop some chilies and then rub your eyes.
Okay, so what are you all doing right now?
Let's see.
Is it time for breakfast?
Well, yes, they're suggesting that they head down to the breakfast room where the master and mistress will be waiting to see you.
Okay. I think we should play along for now and go for breakfast.
What about Creepy the butler?
I'll tell you what. Probably the easiest way. If there's somebody else in here, and providing there's no secret way out, as long as we're the last ones out and we close the doors, at some point those doors are going to have to open.
Yes.
For them to come out.
Yeah. Just going to
But you can get to that study through this door.
Barden in so I can just... Sorry, say that again?
I'm just looking at the layout of this library and I'm trying to work out how to get back up to that study, and I bet you there's a bloody whole ass corridor just up through this one.
There's a room there. But there's rooms to the north, as far as I know. Because there's a door in the other room, isn't there? Over on the eastern side, there's a door.
Yeah.
And there's a door here.
This is the problem if there's secret ways out. I mean, since we came in, we haven't heard any other doors open, have we?
No.
So what it means is, if she's in here and invisible, she's still in here.
Yes.
Do I take it this is the butler?
It is, yes. He's there largely because I forgot to remove him, but we'll assume we will assume he is actually there.
What has he seen?
You've got to get one of those mechanical viewer things.
Yes. He kind of looks at you and says,
"My God, ankles!"
Eh? I beg your pardon?
Just wondering if you'd seen anything suspicious.
Seen anything of fishes? No. We're quite a long way inland. You don't get many fishes here.
Right. Just while we're standing and people are distracted looking at the butler, I'm checking the shadows of each of the mages.
Right. Okay. Make a perception test.
I don't know if it's to do with the tokens, but 2 of them have shadows and 2 of them don't.
Yes, I noticed that myself, actually.
Neither do you.
Dum, dum, dum.
Oh God! Right. Okay.
I think that's just the way the tokens were made.
Fair enough.
I suspect you are correct. Yes.
16.
Okay, in that case, no, you don't notice anything unusual about their shadows. Everybody's got one that looks roughly like them, and it's all pointing in the direction you would expect it to be pointing, given the firelight.
Right.
In fact, because it's also daylight, most people have more than one shadow, because the light
Yeah.
through the windows and the light from the fire and the light from the other windows, it's coming in at different angles, so you're getting multiple shadows as different streams of light hitting people.
Thing is, if she was in here and it was her voice,
Mhm.
then that means she would have had to have cast that immediately as I opened the door.
Yes, which would be quick. Would have to be quick, yeah.
Or was talking through something.
Always talking through something is another possibility.
That's a very
Okay,
good
I'm
idea.
dragging
wasn't
you
actually
onto
there.
the wrong level, I think, there. Is that the wrong level? That looks like
Yeah,
the wrong
I
level.
don't know where the we are. What?
No, that's, yeah, we're in the middle there on the stairwell.
Yeah, that's the right level.
All right.
Okay.
How come we've been moved?
Because you said you were going downstairs to the breakfast room.
Well, yes, but we hadn't quite finished. I suppose it's out of character planning as to if we're going to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit of a chugging from my cursor here. I don't know what's causing it. But right, okay, so yeah, well, you've been talking as you're coming down the stairs, but you did say about a week ago that you were coming down.
True. Okay.
What's this fire in the corner?
And who's this?
I have no idea what that fire is in the corner, so let's get rid of that. And who's what?
This?
Well, that's the mistress, but I don't know why you can see her.
I can see a foot.
Oh, because the door's open. That would be why.
Door's open. Now it's going to walk through it. So
Right,
here we
yeah.
go.
Sorry, go ahead in. Right. So the master and the mistress are both in the room which is laid for breakfast. They both turn around and see you coming in and seem relieved.
I'm going to take
your
a different chair.
Mm-hmm.
A different chair than the one I sat in last night.
Right, okay. Feel free to do so. I'm just going to move some of the... So the master and mistress look relieved as you enter. One of the apprentices says, we found them. And another says, actually, it would be more accurate that they found us. The mistress says, we do hope that unpleasantness last night hasn't caused you too much consternation. The tower's defences appear to have activated.
Oh, not in the slightest.
And you can hear this guy grumble and going, the tower's defences were activated because they detected a threat. And
This guy.
yes, that guy. And
Magnus.
the master just glares at him and he shuts up.
Oh no, we're fine. And then Mog does a bit of a stretch.
Yes. You notice... Well, actually, give me a perception seeing test, everybody. Okay. Anybody that scores higher than 11, notice that everybody here looks tired, as if they've all been up all night, with one exception. The exception is Lyra, who looks fresh as a daisy.
Lyra's the one with red eyes.
Yes. Yeah, so the master says, yes, we're terribly sorry. We're not quite sure what caused the defences. And the guy next to him begins to grumble again, and the master just glares at him and cuts him off. But we're pleased that you've not been harmed. By all means, do say if you have been, and our healer will tend to your wounds. And Gildano nods and says, indeed, but they have a healer of their own who appears to think themselves better at it than I.
I lean in towards him with a smile. So, I don't just think.
Heal, fight, heal.
I don't think I know. Yeah, I don't think you know either.
Lean across, heal his eyes shut. Heal your entire face.
Oh no.
So you do get a sense that there's some
that's a healer's
tension
fight.
between you and Gildane, sorry. That you may be at least partially responsible for. The mistress says, please do avail yourselves of breakfast. Naturally, under the circumstances, we understand if you don't feel safe staying here any longer, but you are welcome to do so if you so wish. We could perhaps move you into a safer part of the tower, at which point Guy in blue hood says, no part of the tower will be safe if they're in it. The master glares at him again.
I think we could go for somewhere a bit less
Oh,
stabby.
I'm perfectly happy with where we were. I mean, to my knowledge, anywhere is as safe as anywhere else. If somebody has it in for you, then they're going to find you reason or none. And I'm sure after after whatever it was last night didn't succeed in what they attempted to do, most likely tonight's attempt will be stronger. It'll be even worse. With that in mind, as the resident called Arcana expert here, what exactly is the nature of methods, and how did they enter the tower?
You're asking the master.
I am.
So as well, there are many types of method. There's one for each of the elements. They're a kind of small elemental type creature. Although they're oddly... Most elementals are somewhat neutral to the affairs of humanoids. They're neither benign nor malevolent towards us, but methods tend to be malevolent.
Are methods part of the tower defences?
They are part of yes, they are part of the tower's more ancient lines of defence.
Ah, right. Okay, that explains where they came from then.
Are they scared of spiders?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So the only question, looking at, is it Gul'dan who's been making the accusations?
No, Gildane's the healer that you're trying to wind up. The guy that's making the accusations is Magnus.
Magnus is
right, okay.
deceitful.
Yes,
Right.
Magnus the deceitful.
The question remains then, what triggered the defences? May I ask, what is the trigger for the defences?
You see the master and the mistress look at each other, kind of... You're not quite sure what that look was that passed between them, but the mistress answers. The trigger for the defences is some kind of threat to the tower's inhabitants, but we're not entirely sure exactly what things can trigger them.
Oh, you don't know yourself. Who put them in place?
My great-great-grandfather.
That's the first time she's announced that to the room.
Yes, it is. Sorry, I'm just going to have to be gone a second. I just have to go out, answer the door. You guys have a bit of a chat amongst yourselves whilst I try to untangle myself from the cable.
A threat.
Apparently, I don't need to worry about it. Marie's on the case.
Okay.
Okay, so where were we?
A threat to the inhabitants of the tower.
Yes. Apparently, the defences predate anybody that currently lives here. Most of the defences predate anybody who lives here. She corrects herself.
How long have you all lived here?
Okay, they all kind of look at one another, and the master and the mistress say that they've lived there all their lives. But, well, make either a empathy roll or a deception roll to see if you believe that. Okay. I
Everybody's rolling a 15.
Yes. I should probably bring one of them up that's
Speed deceitful.
excuse me.
Mog smells a conspiracy.
What did Mog get? Sorry, I'm on a
18.
different panel. You got 18.
With 6 stun points.
Righty
Oh, wow.
donkey.
And also, I was just sort of thinking, all of their lives. That's not very specific. What's the year? What's the year? I
Well,
don't know
that's a
why
very
I've
good
become
point.
so very paranoid.
You have a bit, haven't you? It's terrible.
That's when monsters keep eating you.
Okay, so no, that seems fine to you. You feel there is no deceit, but that does bring up an interesting question.
And how long would that be, if you don't mind me asking?
The master, without thinking, says 60 years, and the mistress says, "It's not polite to ask a lady her age."
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Humans are a little weird about that. Do forgive me.
And was that honest? Did I detect honesty in what they said there?
I'm just trying to work my way through what they said. Yeah, you think that's probably honest. Right. The apprentices all give you slightly different lengths of time. Some claim they've been here 3 years, some 5, some claim they've been here 8 or 9 years.
But nobody's giving years. Nobody's giving dates.
Nobody's given dates. Nobody's gone, I arrived on December the 19th,
Yeah.
In the year of the
432.
Grand Duchy,
Yes.
928.
It was a cold winter. The day that
I happen to remember I snagged my elbow on the way in.
So
Look,
you're
here's the scratch.
not sure if you entirely got the answers that you really needed, because what you got was, well, vague's not the right term. You got fairly accurate statements, you think. The problem was that the statements didn't really narrow it down, because to say like all of our lives is a bit.
Oh yeah.
Although
How
having
do we
said
know
that, the
they weren't alive
masters.
before yesterday?
Yeah, the masters said 60 years. The apprentices have all given you a range between 3 and 8 years. The mistress you're not sure about. She's just said all of our life.
Does he look old enough to have been here 60 years?
He looks
Definitely.
to be in his early 60s.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The mistress looks to be around about the same age, late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to expand upon a thing that I tried when we were first talking to them. You recall when I started rhyming off like local minor nobles?
Yes, I do.
And threw in Olwen of Oit to see if there was any reaction.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to conversationally talk about nobles and age. So I'm going to mention some of those names that I've already seeded in.
Right, yeah.
He may remember that I mentioned them, or he may not, because he didn't know any of them because they're completely detached from the Grand Duchy.
Mm-hmm.
But casually, in among all of those names, I'm going to say, oh, and the following people, they don't look their age, and a couple of names, and I'm going to throw in Morfeg.
Okay. Okay. You get the impression that they're kind of only half listening after a while. By the time you get to Morfeg, they've kind of glazed over a little bit because you've talked about a lot of people they've never heard of or met.
So nobody batted an eyelid when I mentioned his name.
No.
Out of character, you do remember who that is, yeah?
No.
Oh, that was the Archdeacon of the Forlorn Temple.
So it was, yes.
Yeah.
So it was. In that case, I'm wrong. In that case, you can see, like, as you mentioned Morfeg, the mistress's eyebrow arches slightly, and her eyes roll up and to the right as if she's trying to remember where she knows the name from. I'm going to make a intelligence roll for her, see if she comes to figure it out. So let me just bring. Where is she? There she is. That's the master. That's the mistress.
You're not going to throw in any conversational items about the mask if.
Oh no. I'm not giving any context to it whatsoever. Just purely a name on people who don't look their age.
Right, you are. I'm
And,
going
and,
to.
and there's a whole load of guff, and there's one trigger phrase in there just to see if somebody recognises a big wig from the Church of Ios.
Nobody else does except for Mistress Enhalia, who, like, her eyebrow arches and she's clearly trying to remember where she knows the name from. And she says, oddly, of all the people you've mentioned, none of those names ring any bells except that last one. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere before. You can see it's bugging her.
I look at her with my hands folded, just kind of waiting.
She rises from the table and says, excuse me for a moment, and then walks out through that door.
Which door?
This door, yeah. And you can see her heading up the stairs. The master kind of looks round a bit confused and says, well, it would seem I must play host myself now. As I think my wife was suggesting earlier, if you no longer feel safe in the tower, we do understand. We noticed you arrived with a Vardo. If you would like to set up within the grounds of our, within the grounds of the tower, most of the defences are internal to the tower itself rather than within the courtyard. Feel free to do that, we would understand. But if you feel confident enough about continuing to stay in the guest
perfectly
rooms, we're quite happy to position a guard in case.
Nothing has transpired here that has even slightly upset us. It's simply a matter that your defence is triggered off for some reason. If there is a genuine reason why they've triggered off, then we'd be more than happy to render assistance. But nothing that has happened up to now has caused us even a minor inconvenience.
Well, I
say, looking him dead in the eye.
Well, I have to say you are most understanding. I don't think I would be as understanding in your position.
Understanding is the yardstick of civilization.
He shrugs a bit. He says, well, we are somewhat removed from civilization here, so I'm not sure we would entirely know what its yardstick is, or indeed.
Oh, but you are most certainly civilized.
Well, we do like to think so. And you'd notice that, like, everybody, all the apprentices at the table, all eyes swing towards Marcus, who's completely oblivious. But, like you say, you are certainly civilized, and everybody, like, glares at him.
Magnus.
Yes. Just like momentarily, they just kind of glare at him momentarily. They don't all like lock eyes on him till it becomes too uncomfortable. They all just kind of glance in his direction. One of the sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to say including Lyra.
Including Lyra, yes. At which point I should probably go find him because the butler's just finally shown up. For whatever reason, he was in the library earlier.
So you rang, my lord?
Yes. He shuffles through the door to the east and kind of stands, and he's... is there anything I can get anyone, my lord? The master looks up and says, there you are, Di. We were wondering where you had got to. I was in the library with the pipe. They'll kind of look at him oddly, and then he sort of pats his pocket. We have mentioned before, Di, if you would not smoke around the books, that would be... yes, my lord, I do forget. You keep mentioning smoking and the library in the same words, and my old brain... Yes, indeed. Di, was there any incidents in the servants' quarters last night. Kind of looks blankly. Incidents, my lord? I don't allow that kind of fraternization between the servants. No, I don't mean that. Wait, you don't allow that kind of fraternization? You are aware some of the servants are married to one another. Never mind. No, we meant, was there any unpleasantness? And Di looks a bit blankly and says, I believe I have explained that already, my lord. No, that's not what I mean by unpleasantness. Never mind. Are all the servants well? Kind of looks around the room a bit as if he's going to glean the answer from there. Well, my lord? Yes, well, as in not unwell, not harmed in any way. All the servants are well, my lord, I think. What do you mean you think? Well, I haven't asked them all, but I believe they are all well. I believe there is some minor tension in the kitchen this morning over the kippers, but apart from that, my lord. Okay. It sort of leans into the table and says, I do apologise. Sometimes trying to get a straight answer from the butler is like trying to draw blood from a stone. Okay, so as the table kind of settles into silence for a bit, what's everybody doing? Is there anything anybody wants to ask anybody, or are you just going to eat in silence till presumably the mistress comes back? You assume she hasn't just wandered off into the distance.
No, I think she's gone off to the library to check on that name. Or possibly to go off to the portal room to confer with other members of the Church of Ios as to how it is that somebody has the name of one of their archdeacons. She's going to get a bit of a shock if she goes to try to open that door.
Yes.
Good job it wasn't an electrical spell you put on the door.
Indeed, yeah.
And she would get a shock.
I'm gonna make some random small talk about the food with whoever this is to my left.
Adrian.
Adrienne.
Oh, is that Adrienne? Whoops. Well, I'm talking to Adrienne about the food.
Okay.
I'm guessing this is a very animated conversation.
About bacon and sausages, whatever. I don't know what you personally eat as an orc, but yeah.
Whatever's delicious and in front of me.
Your fingers.
Granny M's cheese.
Not that.
We know you've got a bit of a
delicious.
thing. Yes, we know you've got a bit of a thing for decent cheese, but not so much those cheeses. Okay, so you all make small talk for a while, unless anybody has anything more. Go ahead.
I'll just throw out, based on in Helen's reaction previously, when we were given permission to go to use the library, he was not happy about it.
He wasn't, no.
I'm just going to throw in there, as innocently as I may, there are some absolutely fascinating tomes in your library. Quite the most magnificent collection of books I've ever witnessed. I'm throwing it out like a compliment.
Yeah. He says, thank you. The library is over 200 years old, so we've had a great deal of time to gather some interesting tomes. Right. The mistress comes back in looking a little bit flustered.
Oh, dum dum dum.
She sort of leans into her husband and whispers something to him as well.
Oh, can we possibly try to hear what it is?
You can. It's going to be quite difficult because the closest person is on the other side of an NPC. So what I'm going to say is, as you get progressively further away, it's going to get harder. So Kellen's target number to over here is 13.
Could I sort of lean towards whatever that is and try and make it look like I'm reaching for the food?
You can. You can, yes. So Kellen's is 13 because he's the closest. Everybody else's is 15.
Callan's done it.
Kellen's done it. Okay. Kellen, you overhear the words study and journal has been taken.
Shit, that was me.
Right, the master's face darkens and he kind of looks around the room trying to decide whether or not he should accuse you of stealing it or not. You assume is what he's up to. And the mistress, who appears to have vanished.
Do the rest of us know that Mog had the journal?
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
sure did
Where
you when
has
I
the
came
mistress got
back.
to? Also, why is that moved over there?
She moved into the room and then disappeared.
Yes, she appears to have disappeared, and I'm not quite sure why.
Is she not underneath Magnus?
She is.
It's a breakfast
Yes, she
meal
is.
There you
in
go.
front of my salad.
I could just see the stick sticking out there.
Yes, she was. Well spotted. I didn't see that initially.
I curdled the milk in my cereal.
Yes. She looks round the room and says, "Well, I'm terribly sorry to say so, everyone, but we appear to have discovered why the defences activated last night. One of the private studies has been broken into, and a book has been taken. Immediately, this chaos breaks out as all of the apprentices have their own suspicions about who did it. Magnus is like, I told you these people were trouble. They've come here and stolen one of the books. One of the other apprentices, one of the women, you hear her say, it can't have been them though, because the defences activated before the book was stolen. And somebody says, how do you know when the
How
book was
did they know
stolen?
that?
Perhaps you stole it. And somebody else says, I imagine she knows because the first place the defences were active was in the guest room.
Yeah.
And the mistress says,
how
but
do
we
you
don't know
know-
when the book was stolen, or by
do you
whom,
know?
or what.
How do you know when certain areas of the defences are activated?
The master says, actually, it wouldn't be the master, sorry, it would be mistress. She says that when the defences in certain areas are activated, we are alerted.
Is it possible someone could have snuck in through the gate with us?
Yes. Again, this causes a round of arguments between the wizards, as some of them are saying, see, something's entered with them. Not.
If this is the case, I'm very sorry. I didn't, we didn't expect that could be a thing. But if it is, then we'll definitely help you hunt out whoever it is.
Magnus is like, so they brought somebody with them that was hidden from our view in order to plunder our... The master's like, silence! We will not have our guests impugned in such a way. We have no way of knowing that this is their fault. It could be a coincidence. Chaos erupts around the table again as people start arguing, some of them pointing out, well, it's a strange coincidence that it just happened to happen at exactly the same time they arrived, and somebody else, you hear a woman's voice say, but strange coincidences happen all the time, and then a male voice says, especially in a place so imbued with magic as this, and arguments continue. They're all yelling at one another. The mistress is banging on the table. Silence! Silence, I will not have this in my house. Magnus stands up and says, these people, you have invited these people into our home and they have brought danger. At which point it all falls fucking silent again, and the mistress says, I think, Magnus, you will find this is our home. You live here on our sufferance. Then he looks at the master for support, and the master says, my wife is right, this is our home. You are but our apprentices. This is only your home as long as we say it is. Now sit down.
Leaning over to Magnus, would you like some healing for that burn?
That was vicious, acidic. What do you call it? Sarcasm. So it was sarcastic.
Okay, yeah, Magnus kind of glares back at you, but doesn't speak. Just shovels some more deviled eggs into his mouth in a bit of a huff.
Devils.
Devils.
Devils. There's a clue.
Jesus,
Witch.
you guys will really read something into anything, wouldn't you?
Demonic food. Take note.
They better not spill any on his robe because apparently it's a devil to wash off. Like,
If he has some devil's food cake after it, that's confirmation.
Did we tell them about the ice methods we encountered on the way to
We
the
did.
tower?
Yes.
I did
Yeah,
mention it,
okay.
yes.
All right. For some reason, I thought it was Sean that mentioned it, but it was you.
no. They in this conversation, it was given that we had actually encountered methods. It may have been in the room upstairs in the library.
It was in the library. I
No,
remember you
meant
talking about.
specifically the ones that we met on the way to the tower.
While you were in
Yes.
the library, a male voice definitely mentioned that you'd encountered methods on route.
Dora said
Okay.
we'd encountered methods on
so
the road.
Male player, female character. My mistake. Yeah. So it was Gora that said.
Me, I've been mainly silent, just watching people.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. So yes, anyways, the answer you've mentioned that you've encountered methods en route.
Because I just think it's funny that there's all these mages accusing each other of shenanigans going on.
Yeah, you're starting to get the impression that there is a lot of tensions in this amongst this community of mages that you kind of have accidentally tapped into, and that whatever happened last night is kind of just stirring the pot a bit. You're now fairly confident that whatever it was that happened last night, not everybody here is in on it. If anybody here is in on it. So whether or not it's an outside party that none of you know yet, or whether it's a faction within here, there seems, from what you can pick up, there seems to be a minimum of 2 factions. Well, there's Marcus, and then there's everybody else. No, well, there is a bit of that, but you do feel that there's a minimum of 2 factions. It's possibly even more complicated than that, because during the arguments, some people seem to be occasionally siding with each other and occasionally rowing with one another.
So it's rock, lizard, paper, Spock, scissors.
Yes.
So, on the mention of Morpheg,
Yes.
the mistress left the room,
Yeah.
Went all the way up.
went straight up the stairs to the study, and checked on the journal.
Yes.
Very specific.
Very specific.
We don't know she went all the way upstairs though, because we don't know where that study is.
Well, I'm talking purely out of character.
Yeah. I know. I'm just reminding you not to accidentally let slip that we have that journal.
No.
Right,
That is
they may be able to
definitely
cast.
contraband. Definitely contraband.
They may be able to cast a location spell upon it. Where is it? Who's got it?
They might be able to. Yeah.
Because you could say, "Oh, this book I found on the stairs."
Would they be able to detect that if we stashed it in the thieves' purse?
Now there's a good question. Make an arcane lore check.
What would that be under? That would be
Intelligence.
Is that currently where it is?
I think that is currently where it is. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm
that
sure
would probably be where I would put it. To
I'm
be
sure
fair,
you said
Most
you were
things are
putting
getting
it there,
shoved in
actually.
there.
I remember the mention of the thieves' purse came up last week, so the only point I think at which you would have mentioned it would have been when you nicked the book.
But that would have been the best place to put it, because as soon as if you were caught,
I can just kind of automatically shove everything in there, because why use other bags when there's an almost bottomless bag?
Yeah, well, quite.
Which makes sense.
Okay, so you're not sure. You don't know enough about magic to know, but you make a mental note to ask one of the mages later when you're in private.
One of our mages.
Probably, yes.
Not one of
Not
their
going to be
mages.
like awkwardly over breakfast, like, so, hey, so theoretically, if whoever stole this journal shoved it in a thief's purse, would you be able to find it? Just asking for a friend.
Can you know, theoretically, if it was in this bag here, could you tell?
Patrick, something you said earlier has just clicked in my mind that Gora might actually know a little bit or will have a slightly different perspective to you as a player. So let's find out if that's the case. Give me an intelligence research test, please.
Okay.
666. Here we go.
Research is one that I don't yet have, even though I've been doing a lot of researching. I'm going to get that next level.
Yeah, okay. Well, you'll be leveling up at the end of this adventure anyway.
Yeah.
So. Okay, that's... well, first of all, before I tell you what I think Gora might have thought, tell me what your theory on it is, and I'll see if it differs.
My theory on...
sorry, yes, I haven't said what I'm thinking about. You were asking about it, how specific it was that the mistress left and went upstairs to check on the book. Just give me your thoughts on that first, would you?
That the journal possibly can... She was trying to place the name,
Yes.
and she went off to look for somewhere where it would be written.
Yeah.
My first thought would be that she would go to the library because the master didn't want us in there, so there's something in there that he doesn't want us to find. The fact that she came back and said that the journal was missing meant that she went up to that study. Therefore, that book has got
A reference,
either
yeah.
a list of Io's cultists in it, possibly contacts, or whoever wrote the journal. Do we know who wrote the journal?
It was one of Saragossa's, I believe.
Well,
Was it Saragosa's Tower Journal, or was it something else?
No, it's
Saragossa's Tower Journal. Yeah, in which case, if it, do you know it? Hang on, Saragossa made the mask.
Yes.
Did he make it specifically for Morpheg? Was that particular character very long-lived?
Now, that's a good question. You don't know. All you know is that he specifically made it for the towers. Sorry, not the towers. For the temples. High priests. You don't know.
Yes.
And there was a mention of that name within that letter.
Yes.
There was mention of Saragossa within the letter, definitely.
And
so
Morpheg was mentioned in the paperwork you found in the thing. I think that's how you got the name.
he was mentioned in the scriptorum note.
That's right.
It was a letter that he wrote to the High Prelate.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't actually need that dice rolling because you are thinking on exactly the same lines. It's just when you said it's very specific that you went and checked on the
Yes.
The journal, that triggered a thought in my mind that what she actually did was check in the journal because that's where she thinks she knows the name for. But
yes.
you had actually picked that up yourself, so I didn't really need that dice roll.
So, quick question then.
Yeah.
Right. So she came back and said the journal is missing or a journal is missing.
Good point. Well, you only caught part of the sentence, but you think what you said is the tower, that my grandfather's tower journal is missing.
Yeah.
And that's what she whispered to... Or did she announce that? Was that the announcement?
No, it was a whisper. As far as you could tell, that was what.
But
So
she
anyways,
then said one of the studies was broken into and a book has gone missing.
yes, she announced that one of the studies was broken into and a book has gone missing.
Does this imply that there's journals dotted all over the blooming building?
Not necessarily.
But it doesn't rule it out either.
Right? So the next question that we should be asking, what is the significance of this book? What is this book that's gone missing?
Are you asking that out loud, yeah?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sort of going to say, somebody's broken into the study and stolen the book. What's the significance of the book?
She says it was when Gora mentioned a name earlier, I was certain I'd read it somewhere, and I had the feeling that it was connected in some way to my great-grandfather. So I went to check his journal, which is kept in one of the studies, and the journal's not there at the moment. So she turns to the No, she wouldn't because the apprentices don't. So she asks her husband, "Did you remove the book from the study? Were you reading it for in somewhere else?" He shakes his head and says, "No, nor did I loan it to any of the apprentices. The journal is largely private. There's nothing of arcane merit within it." The mistress says, "No, indeed, it's more of a diary. It's a strange thing for anyone to have taken."
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If it's not a book on arcane law, and it's just somebody's diary, it really doesn't.
Has anything else? Has anything else been taken?
Well, I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with this theory of an invisible agent came in through the gate when we actually achieved the puzzle. At that point, and it somehow came in with us. What if it's attempting to get at whatever's in the cellar, the lower floors of the tower, the below ground section, and release whatever's down there? Do you think there's anything in the journal that would actually give any information on that?
Everybody goes silent for a moment. Colour drains from faces. The master and the mistress look at one another and says, "There's only danger in the sealed dungeons beneath the tower. Whatever's in there must stay there. If something's here to release it, that something must be foiled."
Who just said that?
The mistress and Halia.
Turning to the master. Well, you did say that we could possibly take a look down there, Master Inhillen.
I'd be happy enough for you to investigate, but the entrance was sealed so long ago. There's no way in. At which point, I just need to check which person knows this. It's one of the apprentices knows this. Hold on. It's Saria. Saria says, "That's not entirely." Oh, sorry, no, you're right. It's Gildane knows it as well. They both do. Yeah. So Saria says, as I think Gildano mentioned.
You're calling him that as well. We keep using this wrong name.
Gildane, sorry, I do, and there's a reason for that. It's the way I've written it down here. Immediately followed by a little symbol for something, which, if you at a glance, could look like an O. And that's so it's Gildane. As Gildane mentioned at supper last night, there is another way into the dungeons. There's the system that leads out into, but it's heavily trapped. The master nods. Of course there is. We could lead you there, perhaps. But there's no way within the tower to reach it.
Okay.
So you have a secret way into the lower levels?
I bet there is a way, we just don't have the address.
Yeah. It's not a secret way exactly. It's there is an old aqueduct that leads out of there. At least we think it leads in there. Nobody alive has ever traversed the full length of it because there are traps along the length of the passageway and a magically sealed gateway. We assume that's a back way into these sealed dungeons. But as I say, there is no way there within the tower. At which point the mistress clears her throat. Could the apprentices leave the room for a moment, please? And would our guests join me in the withdrawing room? This causes utter confusion. They're all kind of looking at one another, the apprentices, and the master's like, he can see he's shaking his head at her, trying not to be noticed. But ignoring him completely, she walks through the... I think my mouse has just died.
The northern door?
I think the battery's running out on it. Yes, the northern door. So if you'd like to move yourselves into the northern thing, I'm going to be changing the battery on my mouse for a moment, but I will keep talking.
Quick question.
Unless you do. Yeah, go ahead.
How surreptitiously can a spell be cast?
Depends on the spell, really. The longer the spell takes to cast, the harder it is to cast it surreptitiously.
Okay, just a healing touch spell.
Healing touch is a
Novice
major
level.
action.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
In that case, it is. Actually, it's a healing touch. It's not going to be that hard to cast surreptitiously.
Anybody experiencing a lot of lag on Roll20 today?
You're experiencing lag on it as well.
Yeah, like it's now lagging so much that when I move Mog, I temporarily have two
Mogs.
Mogs.
In that case, it might not be my mouse that's causing the
That's called the
lag
Picard
on the
maneuver.
cursor. It might
Yeah, it is
actually be.
basically. It looks like a transporter accident.
No, my cursor is moving more smoothly now, so it might have been the battery or it might have been the lag. I don't know. Okay, so you join everybody in the other chamber. The master comes in, but he does not look happy. He does not look happy.
I was just going to do a thing there.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I could just surreptitiously cast Healing Touch, bearing in mind that's the spell that you said and has shown to also do harm to the undead.
Right, yes.
I'd like to drop that on. Is it Lyra with the red eyes?
Lyra with the red eyes, yes.
Yeah. So, from where I was, would she be passing me? Would she sort of brush past?
Should brush past you, yes.
Right.
It is a touch-based spell, though, so
It is.
You're going to have to touch her. She is going to notice that.
So if I just sort of pass that off as going, I'm sure we won't be long, and just sort of pat her on the shoulder.
Or does it have to be a skin touch?
No, that would be okay. I am going to make a. Oh God, how are we going to figure out if she spots you casting the spell?
Is this a sleight of hand thing?
Yeah, make a sleight of hand. So dexterity sleight of hand versus her
Oh,
perception. You can try a deception. No, you can't. You can't. Has to be sleight of hand. More
Okay.
I think of it. So let me just
Yikes.
do a. So that's not good.
No.
So let me just test her
She rolls a 7.
perception seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she sort of glances at you curiously. She pulls back initially until she recognises the gesture and then kind of shrugs. And you pat her on the shoulder. Take the points off. Cast healing touch
Healing
on
touch.
her. And she
Do you
just.
want me to roll for it?
Yeah, it's a spell.
It's a spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, make a roll for
Well,
it.
it's just the fact you said take the points off for it.
Well, you're going to spend the points whether you succeed or not.
It's not the normal way you would say it. So
although it's kind
like
of
the
half.
question
It's
too.
half points actually if you fail, isn't it? It's a pass.
No, that's from the new version.
Shh.
Ah, the playtest version. Yes, that we're not supposed
Yeah.
to talk about yet. Okay, yes, my mistake. Sorry. Strike that from the record. Okay, so yeah, she gives you a bit of a funny look and says, "Really, I'm not injured."
Blessings of Palor upon you.
And upon you, I guess. And kind of shrugs and wanders out.
Mm-hmm. so there was no adverse reaction to it.
None whatsoever.
How much
Other
healing
than
did you do
utter
to her?
confusion. How what, sorry?
How much healing did you do?
Well, she's completely undamaged, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't matter. Yeah. Okay, so
It would be you can choose to spend up to 3 points. I'm spending 1 just to see the effect.
Yeah.
It was like if she was some form of undead, that should have hurt her basically.
yes, should have done.
Yeah.
Okay,
So where it was a 1d6 worth of healing. So just for the record, it was 4.
if it makes you feel better, you can roll it.
Well,
4
it
points
was
it is.
like that Sean asked.
Yeah.
It might make her feel better.
Well, she's literally not injured, so
No, it might give it a bit of a boost. You know, she's feeling tired.
She's not. She's the one person I said was
She's-
looking fresh as a daisy,
Yes.
which is probably part of what made Patrick suspicious in the first place.
Oh, that and the red eyes with diamond-shaped pupils.
Not
and the
being
fact that
told.
Ouija board,
I was going to say the Ouija board did say she was possessed.
Ouija board said she was possessed. Yeah.
Okay, so you assemble in the drawing room, and the door's closed behind. The master actually is not going to stand there. The master's going to stand against the door, like leaning back against it, to stop
Oh.
anybody coming in or to muffle any sound getting through.
Hold the door.
Oh, okay.
Hold the door.
The mistress sort of heads over in this direction and says, "Firstly, what we're about to tell you must go no further. Even the apprentices don't know what we're about to tell you."
Okay.
Very well.
Upon my word as a knight, my honour.
Excellent,
Yes,
that's
no
what I
further
wanted
than
to
this.
hear. In that case, I'll reveal one of the many secrets of this place. There is an entrance to the dungeons beneath the tower. It was not sealed in a traditional sense, it was sealed in a more arcane sense. But there is a route, a secret passage.
Okay.
As we seem now to be certain that something or someone in this tower wants to find the things that are down there, and as those things were sealed there by our great-grandfather and great-grandmother for extremely good reasons, we must make sure that they do not escape. I'd
Have you
rather
ever
see...
spoke?
Sorry,
Have
go
you
on.
ever spoken to your great grandfather or great grandmother?
I haven't. They have been dead for longer than I've been alive.
Is she lying?
Make a either communication deception test to see if you can detect the kind of the way you would react if you were lying, or a perception empathy test. Either of those will bloody hell. Right, okay.
Inquisitor Kellen. It's on the job.
Okay, so
Jeez.
we will need a whispered and roll here, perhaps. Okay, so what did everybody get?
17. 5 stunt points.
15.
You don't think she's lying, no? Not about that.
Turning to the master. Have you ever spoken to her great grandfather or great grandmother?
He shakes his head. I haven't.
Is he lying?
Gonna have to make another roll.
Yep.
Yeah, this will be all my good rolls done.
Oh, that was even worse.
13.
So who
16.
scored the highest?
Score
16.
16.
5 points of stunts.
Seems to be truthful.
Okay.
I mean, okay. When I'm saying spoken, I mean like communicated with. Not just in the
I took
spoken.
that to be what you
Sorry?
meant, yes.
Yeah, not just in the spoken oral sense.
And
It's
indeed,
okay.
if anybody here could have done, it would be me, but no, I haven't.
Who said that?
The master.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Why?
Why what?
Yeah.
Why have I not spoken to him? It
No,
never
no.
crossed my mind.
Why, if anybody here could have done, would it have been you?
Well, I'm the necromancer. He says it so matter-of-factly that you're just like, the fuck?
Oh, right. Yes. So the death arcana that is banned from study. You're the one who studies that.
Banned from study?
That's what you said.
It's banned from our apprentices to study.
A linguistic loophole. Understood.
No, a rule we decided upon. Not everybody has the caution or the mindset for it.
Requires a certain mental fortitude not to be seduced by the dark powers.
Precisely.
Speaking of dark powers, do any of you have familiarity with demons? looking from one to the other.
Okay, they both kind of glance at one another. And the master sort of shakes his head, but he seems a little bit about it. And the mistress says, "What do you mean by familiarity with precisely?"
You got a demon familiar? No.
How contact with, difficulties with. Have you ever experienced anything anything
No.
along those lines?
Some of the apprentices occasionally suggest that they have heard things that suggest the tower is haunted in some way, and given its history, they occasionally suspect some dark demonic power, but not since my grandfather, great-grandfather, and great-grandmother killed the demon. Has there been any demonic influence here that we know of?
They killed the demon.
Yes.
Which demon?
Oh, I don't know what its name was, but there was a great battle in the dungeons beneath. Unfortunately, my grandfather fell during the exchange.
How did your great grandmother die?
Old age. Although some argue that she died of a broken heart after my great grandfather died.
Sorry.
She was,
You-
however, 90 years old at the time.
Well, the two are not mutually exclusive.
Indeed.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Whose is the spirit board that is very obviously sitting outside of the guest wing?
The very question I was going to ask.
Ah, I'd forgotten all about that. That's been here. I remember it being here when I was a child. I think my grandmother used it to attempt to contact her mother. Don't know whether she ever succeeded. She was very tight-lipped about such things. The pull towards necromancy has always been something we have been extremely cautious about in our family. That's why only my husband has ever studied it here, and we do not allow the apprentices to.
So, the remains of Saragosa are here.
No.
The remains of Saragosa, no, they're in his tomb.
Just checking.
Why would his remains be? Although some of our family remains are here
I would think descendants from there.
yes.
From there.
Oh.
After the death of
After
the son.
That's correct. After the death of the son, some of their remains are here in.
Do
the
we
Games
know
Master's forgotten
When
the
when
name
you
of the
when you
urns.
say remains, the bones,
The ash.
the ash. Okay.
I believe I mentioned yesterday that they
You
were
did. You did.
cremated and stored. Well, I think my husband, when we were still being cautious and suggesting that he was the descendant. Oh, good question, Sean. Do you know the name of the son?
We know the inscription on the dagger.
Yes.
It has the secret compartment in it with the high potency magic vial in it.
Yes.
But we don't know that that's his name. We assumed it was.
You did assume it was. This is where you find out that in some obscure language it means pointy thing.
Yes.
So that's the question. We have the name of Saragossa. We have the name of his wife. We don't have the name then of her grandfather, effectively.
Sean, where did we get the name of his wife?
That was from the table.
Yeah.
But we need to ask that question
Yes.
for confirmation.
You can ask that.
Tell you what.
This is
What was the name of Saragossa's wife?
Who are you asking? Sorry, are you asking
The
me or are
mistress.
you asking the
The
mistress?
mistress.
Right, okay. So in character. The mistress says, Saragossa's wife had two names. The name by which she was most commonly known in the Grand Duchy was Morgana, but her original name was Nabiri.
Okay.
Very interesting. And what was their son's name?
Right, I'm going to have to wade through a bit of meta thing here. I'm going to have to wade through a lot of Games Master's notes to find it, or I can just confess that it is the same as the inscription on the knife.
Okay, absolutely, yes.
Right. I then have the question of, I would say to them quite plainly, I'm obviously not wearing my helmet at this point, sword is sheathed and shield's on my back.
Yeah.
At this point. And say, quite practically, take it you realise we're family.
Actually, I don't know if she knows that. Let me just find out. You didn't mention it at the time. You were concealing that. So it's a question of whether she noticed the familial
features.
So let's just find out. I'm going to give that a target number because you are a distant family from a long way back. I'm going to make that a challenging rating. So that's 15 of it. It's just going to need. I'm going to take her off Whisper because there's no reason why you shouldn't see this. So, yes. Indeed, I had my suspicions. It's surprising how much we look like one another. Your skin has more of a palette to it than mine, and your hair still has its colour. But apart from that, so what relation to one another are we precisely? I can see you wear the old phoenix of my great grandfather's family, but it seems different. So I can only imagine an offshoot of the family, a distant uncle, or down that line, perhaps.
Well, I'll go through the backstory of the heraldry and the research.
Okay. She seems very interested to know it all. She said, then it would seem that we are just kind of working something out in our mind. Oh, some kind of cousin.
Indeed.
Well, welcome, cousin. The master's kind of looking between you both going, I don't see it at all.
And I'll actually say, well, hence that's a high aspect of the motivation for this quest, this desire to know the answers.
That it's I can understand, indeed. And it would be good to keep this within the family. That's part of the reason why I felt able to entrust you with the knowledge that there is a secret way into the dungeons. But I must warn you that what is down there is extremely dangerous, and that was sealed for a reason. We don't go down there. Nobody that's gone down there has ever come back that we know of. Not since my great-grandmother. The demon might be dead, but there are other things down there.
Out of character.
Yes.
I'm thinking we were told, beware my granddaughter, or great-granddaughter.
Yes, you were, yeah.
I'm
beware
wondering...
my great-grand. You were told, yes.
Which you confirmed after the fact that we had technical issues, that it was granddaughter.
Beware my great-granddaughter's budgie.
I know that I don't have any mechanical thing on my sheet. I don't think the mechanic exists within the rule set for a priest to do this.
Okay.
So it's sort of open to interpretation. Would I have some means of laying on of hands, giving a bit of a blessing, and just palming my holy symbol of Palor into somebody's hand?
Sleight of hand would do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking, might that get some sort of reaction from somebody who was possessed? As in, might it burn them, or would they drop it in shock? do I have any
To answer that question,
in-world basis
To answer
for
that-
that line of thinking?
to answer that question, you're going to need to pass a religious law roll, please.
Okay.
It's going to be an average difficulty, so that's 11.
Religious law being another one that I need.
15. Okay. Okay, so being actually possessed, probably not. Or no. Probably not. An actual demon in disguise, yes, probably. Possessed, probably not. And just in league with, definitely not.
Right. Okay. So, and only if it was an actual demon in disguise.
Yes. So, the mistress says, if you wish to risk the dungeons, I've given you the warning about what's down there. My fear is that one of the apprentices might be behind whatever's going on. The master nods and says, I think so, and I don't think it's the one we would at first suspect. All eyes turn to him.
And who would you suspect?
Well, we certainly would be interested in venturing down there.
Well, I would, in answer to Kellen's question, he says, it's not who I would suspect, it's who I wouldn't. I wouldn't, for example, suspect Magnus.
Purple dress lady.
I might suspect Purple Dress Lady. I certainly wouldn't suspect Magnus. The mistress looks at him sort of quizzically and says, why? Magnus has always been a troublemaker. The master clicks his fingers and says, exactly. If you were here as a spy to learn some secret that we don't want out, to find things we want to keep hidden, to steal from us, to act against our best interests, would you keep making trouble and drawing our attention to yourself?
What I'm going to do, I'm going to extend my right hand to be shaken. I'm going to have my left hand palmed my symbol.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just going to offer her that with the next thing that I say, and if she takes it, I'll just bring my other hand over the top in that sort of friendly way that people do.
Right.
The old
Yes.
double handshake.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got my symbol in the one that's going to go on the back of her hand.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So I'll say the following. We would graciously accept the invitation to investigate your cellars, and if any evil dwells therein, we shall do what the Company of Light does, extending my hand.
Thank you. It is greatly appreciated.
Does she take it?
Well, she still leaves it attached to your arm. If that's what. Yes, it takes it.
Okay.
She takes it, scratches the back, and then gives it back to you, like puts it over the top. Yeah.
I bring the other hand in.
So that's handy.
Okay, she looks a bit confused when she feels the fact that you're holding something in the other hand, but beyond that, it doesn't do her any harm. Not unless you accidentally scratch her with the...
No.
See what colour blood she's got.
Damn it, I forgot it was sharp.
It's a sun symbol. It's full of points.
Yeah.
Nick of time. There we go.
The holy symbol of my god, Stabby the Slasher.
Scratchy.
Blood for the blood god.
That's a corny joke.
Okay, so yeah, she looks a little bit confused, but doesn't react beyond that. The master says then we must away quickly and make sure that none of the apprentices see us go.
And I'll say to him, I'll shake on that.
Okay, he shakes hands with you as well.
Same thing. Any idea? Any change?
Yeah, no change. No change.
Okay. Then the first thing we'll need is to retire to our chambers and prepare. We shall,
Okay, you're gonna retire
we
to
shall
your
pray.
chamber.
We should, I'm sure Sir Kellen will want to sit vigil. We'll go and prepare ourselves for the journey.
Okay, and when would you like to meet up for us to show you the secret way?
What time is it now?
If
It's
you
still
can give us a-
morning, so it's probably no later than 9 a.m.
Okay.
early afternoon.
I would say, why are we not...
Kellen, early afternoon.
Well, if we start earlier, we get back earlier.
Yes, Kellen, early afternoon.
Early afternoon, you mean just past noon?
Yes.
Okay.
So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 4 hours. No, I can't figure it. Oh, yes, I can.
Right.
The light has finally dawned upon the games master, so you can regenerate the magic points you spent in the other room, isn't it?
I wish I was that clever.
All right, okay. Okay,
I've got another reason entirely.
okay. So you all head off to your quarters. Then let me just drag you over to those. Actually, they're on this floor, aren't they?
Are they?
So
Yeah.
let me just
Right.
assemble you all together so I can easily do that. I'll just move the NPCs out of the way. I'll move you up there. And you up there. Then I will grab your copy and I'll zoom out to find.
We just want to be there in the door by the... Not in the Ouija board table room, but that space to the west of it.
Mog, have you got any pocket salt left?
I don't carry pocket salt.
Yeah. Well,
There you
we'll
go.
have a
So
little-
you are
Right,
back
so
in the... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so if we have a quick conflab at this point,
Mhm.
In whatever room, the one to the north, I don't know.
Yeah, the one we were in before.
Okay, move yourselves into that by all means.
Might need to open the door.
Done.
There you go. Yeah, door's open. Right.
You're liking this, now you can open the doors yourself.
I absolutely love it. It's
Is everyone on a different map to me?
No,
No.
you're over on the west.
we got copied across, so we're still in the withdrawing room.
Okay, right. I was
But
gonna say, I'm in the withdrawing room, but I'm like, I've got no idea what door anybody's talking about.
There you go.
Okay,
That's
you
you.
shouldn't be in the drawing room anymore. You should be over by the far left of the screen.
Ah, right, yes.
It's so
Sorry.
far left that Keir Starmer's going to be along and purge it from the Labour Party any minute now.
I was going to say, we're socialists. We're not far left.
Right.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay.
so what I would suggest is that we make the pretense of saying we're going to have the Vardo taken outside.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
reason I wanted everybody in here, Mog, let's take a look at that book.
Have we checked to make sure
Uh,
there's nobody else in here first?
I wouldn't do
Nope.
that. There may be some invisible agents and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Hence
What
the
was it?
salt.
Okay, I will pocket salt the room.
Okay, you're going to pocket salt the room. So you start spraying salt around the room, hoping that would keep any invisible agent out. You closed the door immediately on coming through it, so you're fairly confident it didn't come through with you. Whether or not there's anybody in the room before you got here, well, they wouldn't know you were coming back here, so unless they raced along. But you didn't see the drawing room door open, so they couldn't have left before you, and they couldn't have come in here after you. So you feel reasonably confident that you're probably on your own?
Question.
Wait. Oh, is there any way we can check to see if anybody's scrying on us?
Not without power arcana, to the best of my
Yeah, I
knowledge.
can't think of any way with the...
Okay.
Are there any
powers and
mirrors
abilities
in
you
this
have.
room?
Hang on a sec. Right.
are
I've got
not,
two potential ideas. Firstly, does Flame Blast affect inanimate objects?
It can do, yes.
Right. If we shift all of the furniture over to one side of the room,
And set it on fire.
no. I can flame blast the rest of the room.
And set it on fire. It's got a wooden floor.
The wooden
okay.
floor.
Okay, forget that. Okay.
No.
The other thing I can do, non-destructively, because I do have non-destructive ideas as well.
I'm not entirely against it, but usually total party kills happen as an accident that's down to the games master.
It would make a hell of a story. The other thing I can do, I can set up an arcane tent, which
Oh, we could do it. Yeah, okay, I'm into that.
which if I get enough stunts and it gets powered up by Paylor, I can ask to keep out prying eyes. That's a big if.
It is a big if. It is a big if.
With that in mind,
Knowing that you're about to venture down into the dungeons where you're likely to need all your mana as well.
well, we
Think
can
about
always
it
rest.
carefully.
We can always rest before then.
True.
I want to go in with our eyes open, and if we're being scryed on here, there's a chance we're being scryed on elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Where would be safe to actually look at the thing?
Good question.
And the question is, and this will probably be an arcane lore test, I would think. Can a scrying spell that looks into an area look through an arcane tent?
Make an arcane lore roll.
Yeah. Because detecting it is one thing, preventing it is another.
Yes. I'm going to rule that it can't without knowledge that the arcane tent is there. In fact, it would need more than knowledge the arcane tent is there. I would imagine it would need to have visited it at some point.
Right.
To have visited the arcane tent.
I think so. Yeah.
To have visited
Right.
the area,
Yeah.
right? Because this is where I was saying if we put the Vardo outside,
Yeah.
we could be inside the Vardo. You could cast Arcane Tent inside it. You know nobody's ever been in there other than us,
That's a good point.
right?
We don't know that anybody hasn't been in it through the night.
Well,
Oh,
the
hold
traps
on.
would have been set off.
Yes,
we
of
left all the
course.
traps set, right?
Yeah.
And I was going to suggest that Sister Erin and Baden actually, hide in there till we come back.
That's probably the
Okay.
safest place for them.
I concur. So you think go into the Vardo and do it in there?
Yeah, because we're getting our supplies.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And you would
But-
literally be getting your supplies because some of your
But-
kit's still in there.
But the cover is we're actually going to take them up on the offer of moving it outside the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's the deceit part, to make that pretense of
I like
that's why we're doing it. We're not
Mhm.
getting supplies for an expedition.
I think that's a very good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that's a good enough idea that I'm going to give you a
Conviction point.
conviction point for that, yes.
Have you ever been convicted?
Of being too clever.
Okay, so what route are you going to take down there is the next question.
There's a set of stairs to the south.
There is a set of stairs to the south, the wooden stairs at the southern end of the now no longer laden with animated what's names.
And saying in a loud voice, okay, we'll get the Vardo out from the stables downstairs and set it up in the grounds.
Excellent.
As it's safer than staying in the building.
Could you line yourselves up in the marching order you're going to be using, please, and then I'll cut and paste you downstairs.
Okay.
Not saying there's any danger down there, of course. Just
I'll head first. Trap checker.
Okay. Do you want me to go last or first? Your choice.
I would say Mog, Callan, Adrienne, then myself.
Okay. And then once we've cleared the area, we'll call down Baden and Erin.
I'm getting that.
We do
laggy
now have to
mention
explain
before.
to them, though, why we filled that room with salt.
Well, we're having fish and chips and knocked the salt cellar over. It went everywhere. Okay, so you're going to head down the stairs. Da, da, da.
That's why we need the friends of the Rat King to actually come and clean it up for us.
Indeed so. So I'm
I'm
gonna
sure
take
they'd like
it
to
down.
lick the salt off the floor.
Quite possibly, yeah. Okay,
The
and
historic order of the Snake.
you said you were going to be checking for traps, I think you said, Louise, didn't you?
Yeah,
Would you like...
always checking for traps.
Okay, would you like to give me a roll, please?
Yeah.
Let's
I
see.
only have darkness. Oh, there we go.
Where the heck's it gone? Here it is.
Shit, that's a good roll, isn't it? Okay, so given that, you are definitely going to notice that the as you come down the stairs checking for traps, you can find none. No traps at all. This door's looking a bit suspicious for your liking, though. So carefully checking for traps by the door, you find a suspicious area of floor in front of it. You're not sure if it's actually a trap so much as it's just rotted through slightly, and you're not sure it would take your weight. Certainly not Kellen's in full armour.
Yeah, but the armor doesn't weigh that much.
Certainly not your own. That's right, Kellen's armour doesn't actually increase his weight in it by much. So it might take your weight, but you're not sure. The door itself also appears to be... Well, you wouldn't be able to tell whether it's locked or not, but... yeah, you're a little bit unhappy about this section of floor in front of it.
Is this the ground floor, yeah?
This is the ground floor, yes.
This window open?
No.
Can we open it?
Sorry, I'm going to try that again in a language known to this universe. Conceivably, yes.
Would it help me see if I just go out the window then?
Yeah, you can try you can try and unpick the lock. You can try and pick the lock and open it that way. Yes.
What looks wrong with the door?
Nothing looks wrong with the door.
So,
floor just looks...
so could we just step over the area of the floor, or is it too big?
You should be able to see the dubious looking area now.
Yeah.
You could probably try working around it, I suppose.
Termites.
All right, but if it comes in its angles, just remember that I said we could have gone out the window.
Oh no, I didn't say change the plan.
Well, you could stick to the wall at that point and just try the door handle if that's
Okay.
you do. We'll search
Right,
for traps around the door.
I'll
Okay.
do that.
The door's locked.
Back to the window then.
Okay, I'm going to suggest going out the window.
You're going to have to pick some lock here at this point.
Because it's going to,
one
like,
way or another.
I could probably do it from hanging on the wall. I could probably pick the lock on the door, but, like, it just seems safer to go out the window in general.
Okay.
This is where we, like, fall into a bin and children laugh at us. This place.
Just taking a look at that area of floor.
Mhm.
Are there like sort of visible cracks and crevices between the planks?
It is suspiciously softer than the rest of the floor.
Softer.
Yeah.
It's just suspiciously moved as well.
Yeah, sorry, that was my mistake.
It's a mimic.
And you can see some... it seems to be sagging slightly. Just ever so slightly. Not entirely unlike my kitchen floor.
It's like the T1000 just merged with the floor.
I
mean, you
scored
can
a
try and
14
take
on my
a closer
lock-picking
look
one.
at it if you'd like. You can try and get on your hands and knees without actually crawling over the suspicious bit and seeing if you can see any more detail to the trap. That would just be perception searching roll. Would probably do that.
It might be a smothering carpet that pretends to be planks of wood.
I got a 14 on that lockpick on the window, by the way.
Okay, you reckon it's going to take you about a minute to unpick this lock, but you're going to be able to do it.
Okay. Well, if you want to look at the thing that might eat your face while
No, I
I'm doing
don't.
it, feel
No,
free.
quite frankly, I don't. The fact that the door's locked and that has positioned itself there, and we have seen a smothering floor surface before.
doesn't look like a smothering floor surface. It looks like part of the floor. It just looks like...
Yeah, I'm
To
gonna
be
honest.
honest, more than a trap, it looks more like the joist underneath has just rotted away.
You've gone.
I'm going to be honest though, Morg hasn't really trusted the reality of anything ever since that mimic in the bank. So
Okay,
constant vigilance, you never know what'll try and eat you.
that's very true. Okay, so Mark, you're clambering out of the window.
Very
presumably.
unglamorously, sort of face first.
Okay, so you sort of
Hey!
splat out of the window. You clamber through it and wind up sort of face first, hands palm down on the grass, ankles still kicking through the inside of the window, trying to squirm your way through, and eventually you flop out onto the lawn outside.
Hello, Flo.
Just
I'm
popping
just
out for a bit.
going to remove the... it's not going to let me for some reason. What is that? I think it's because that's there. Let me just shift that, and that, and that, and that, and let's see if it'll let me do it now. Yes, it will. I'll turn on the dynamic light and I can just delete that window, and you can all climb out of it now.
Hey!
So just walking out backwards, making sure that that thing doesn't move.
Doesn't move.
Ooh, way.
Okay. Just
It continues-
absolutely.
It continues to be a flaw,
Okay.
albeit a very suspicious patch of flaw.
Right.
Work- Working your way out through the windows, you're now on the lawn at the back of the house, the back of the west
What's
wing.
this pile of stones here? Is it just a pile of stones?
It is... Yes, it is.
When is a pile of stones just a pile of stones?
So, what's everybody doing?
Called Ken.
Okay. What are you all doing?
Following Callan, and we're going to head round the north side of this because I think that's where the.
Hold up. Don't run away without your trap checker.
Okay.
You
So,
don't hear
working your way round that side, you can't see anybody else in the grounds at the moment at all. I'm going to have to place the Vardo on the hammer. We know it's there, don't we? Let me just check the other maps and see if I've got somewhere I can just grab it from quickly. Actually, it might already be at the other side of the... Is it?
We didn't bring it across the bridge. It might be on the river map or
Yes, it'll be on the
the
river map. I'll
method
just
map.
grab it from there, can't I?
Might be on the
Snowstone,
method
I
map.
think it was. Yeah, it is.
Do you know the method man?
The Method Man.
The method man?
He comes from Method Lane.
Yeah. Did you understand why I was asking if they're scared of spiders?
Nope.
No.
Little Miss Method.
Oh,
God, no.
no.
Oh, God. That's reaching a bit, that one, surely. Okay, so you can keep moving yourselves, you know. You're
Don't call me Shirley.
coming around that corner fairly slowly.
Cautiously.
Cautiously, if you prefer, yeah.
Oh, there's some old style there. I can't see.
Be coming round that when they go.
Hang on, Blood.
Okay, just delete your copies from there. Move this over here. Swing it round. The Vardo minimap does have the animals still tethered to it. Actually, they'll be in the other.
In the stables.
In the stables around the side of it. But it's faster than me going to look for the master.
Well, I hope that place is better built than the floor we were just looking at. Otherwise, it would be an unstable.
Oh, dear God. Okay, so the stable doors appear to be locked as well. Somebody has bolted the stable doors.
Right. Before the
Hang
horses
on, then.
escape.
Yeah.
Hang on, can you pick a bolt?
Actually, yes, if you're really good. It's very hard. What you
can
need is
jiggle
something
one.
very, very thin. It also depends on how snugly fit the door is.
Yeah.
But if you can get a thin blade between it and slide it up and wiggle it, it takes a long time, but you can occasionally get the bolt unlocked, depending on how snugly fit the A door and B bolt into the receiver lug is. And again, don't ask how I know this.
Right, well, some of the camp cutlery will come in handy at last.
Okay, it is extremely hard to pick a bolt this way, and it's time consuming, so it's going to be a high target number.
No, that was not good.
Are the hinges on the outside?
The hinges are.
Just take the door off.
Yeah.
Yes, the no, sorry, the hinges will be on the. Hold on, I need to look at a door here. The hinges are on the side. Yeah, they're on the outside.
And how easily could those be unscrewed, for instance?
Fairly easily, actually. They're
Probably
kind
easier
of.
just to do that rather than pick the bolt.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
What would that be?
I'd just use the same skill, but I'll reduce the target number and increase the time it's going to take.
That's the kind of thing that Mog would think of, right?
I would think so, yes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so it takes you about 15 minutes in total, but you unscrew the hinges and manage to open the doors without the doors falling on you. Because aware of the fact that once the hinges are unscrewed, it's liable to, you've got the other stronger party members standing waiting to catch them. So you've essentially, Kellen is being feral to your me, and Gora is being bull to your me. If you remember the time that they knocked me out of the way before the big sort of crate in the band's thing nearly took me head off, and they knocked us out of the way.
Yep.
Sorry?
That bloomin' V&V gig.
The V&V Nation gig, yeah. Where somebody that wasn't us had packed the thing quite dangerously, and it nearly took my head off when we were trying to get it. And if it wasn't for them two, I wouldn't be here now.
Jesus.
So yeah, you two kind of catch the door as it comes off and just move it out of the way. Inside, you find your horses happily munching away on hay, and your Vardo exactly where it left it, with all of the security measures and traps still in place. You did actually say you were going to drag it out into the open, didn't you? So let me just do that for you. So you drag the Vardo out. I think you've got control of it, so you can position it more or less where you want.
Oh, there it is.
Good enough there, I would think.
Oh, that's the point. I might need to open that door for you because it's a locked door. Not sure that opened it, if I'm honest. Doesn't matter. The Vardo's outside now anyway. That's the important thing. So you check all the security measures. They're still in place. You clamber in, fairly confident that nothing invisible has gotten in behind you, and you were doing this for a reason. I can't remember. You were going to read the journal, weren't you?
Well, he's going to put up a
arcane tent.
Arcane tent inside.
Okay, you're going to put up
That's
an arcane
possible.
tent in. Yeah,
yes.
that's possible. Go ahead and make the spellcasting roll. You summon
Done.
an arcane tent and it flares into life around you. You also have four stunt points if you'd like to use them.
Let's see if there's anything divine that I could ask for. 4 stunt points. Right, I'll take divine awe.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
So clearly favoured by higher powers, any force suffers a -2 penalty to all tests against you until the start of your next turn. So if they happen to attempt to scry into here, then it's at the -2.
Okay.
But I mean, you've already ruled that they can't see in anywhere, so yeah. If they try anything else,
I'm going to look into that, but I think I'm probably right about that.
Right.
I will look into it. But certainly for this adventure, we will treat it as that being the case.
We happen to be smiled on by Palo in
Smiled
this
on by
instance.
Palo. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you clamber into the arcane tent within the Vardo and produce the stolen book from Mog's thieves'
Stolen?
purse. Yeah.
Well,
Borrowed.
yes, it was stolen.
You climbed up the side of the thing, broke in through the window, and nicked the book out of the. I would call that stolen. I think that's pretty.
Yeah, it's only stolen if we keep it.
Okay, technically, yes. Okay.
And if you've left the shop.
And if you left the shop, yes. Okay, so it's a big, thick, heavy journal. The handwriting differs from place to place. Not enough for it to be different authors, but enough for it to be something that somebody has written over the course of a long period of time. You'll know yourself, your handwriting has very slight micro changes from as you age or in the different moods you're in and so forth. You're pretty sure it's all the same handwriting, and you're pretty sure it's Saragosa's. You're getting used to seeing his by now. You've seen it often enough.
Flick through the pages. Are there any of those hints, the clues?
Flicking through the pages, there aren't, but you did find one in there earlier, remember?
Oh, we've already had one from there, right? Sorry,
That's right.
I forgot.
So there aren't. Also, because it's a journal, it's all neatly laid out usefully in dates. So, there's a date of each entry, as you would kind of expect. A lot of what's in here is quite dull day-to-day thoughts and ruminations. You can, however, this is probably the most interesting point, is you can see a change in the mind of the person who wrote this. You can see that gradually he's beginning to come to the conclusion that that someone, and you're going to have to search back through to see who, is Dagoth is not all he pretends to be. That all the negative things that have befallen Saragossa since the death of his father, since the execution of his brother, Dagoth has been there. In the early parts of the work, he talks about how Dagoth has always been there for him since the execution of his brother. As it goes on, you see he's beginning to realise that Dagoth is not there for him at all, not in the way he thought. That there is a lot of the horror that's happened since has been at his behest, yeah. So he was the one that helped him create the monster that he trapped his brother's essence in. He was the one that helped him with some of the experiments in some of the experiments in the basement with. And something went horribly wrong there, but you're not quite sure yet what it is. One of the interesting things, though, that distracts you most is you see another name in there that you recognise. Do you have a guess?
Morpheg.
Yes. You notice there's a period when Dagoth has gone away. He has travelled somewhere to look something up. During that period, you also notice there's a lot of entries about conflict between Dagoth and Nibiru. But you notice that the name Morgoth jumps out at you because you were just talking about it earlier. And you find a section that talks about the mask. What it tells you about the mask is, after I sent Dagoth away, so it looks like he's actually expelled Dagoth at one point. After I sent Dagoth away, the cult of Ios continued to contact me, seeking that they assist in creating an arcane artifact for their abominable worships. I acquiesced to this. However, I laid a trap within the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Reading on, you discover that the trap he laid, within the mask is a magical engraving. I trust they will not find. I know that wherever they hide, the moment the mask is activated, it will send a message to the Lord of the Order of the Gargoyle.
Which is why the Order of the Gargoyle went in, cleaned the place out, and then unfortunately ended up as a anti-paladin and a.
No, they were Order of the Griffin.
Sorry, yes, it's the Order of the Griffin he mentions, not the Order of the Gargoyle. The Order of the Griffin. Yeah. Yeah. Send a message to the Order of the Griffin. Yeah. So, yes, the rest of your theory is correct. It looks like they've not noticed that Saragosa has built this, effectively a bug, a magical bug into the mask, which has alerted the Order's prelate as soon as the thing was used in a ritual sense, and they've descended on the temple and wiped out the.
And that also wasn't noticed by the elven enchanter at Crow's Crossing. Yegrith?
Yes, Ygrith. Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't notice that either because he told us what the enchantment was on it.
Yeah. Yes, he spotted the major enchantment. What he didn't spot was the minor booby trap.
Yeah.
Too bad you destroyed the mask, eh?
Well,
no, definitely not.
Yeah,
I do not. That was the will of Palor.
Yeah, I think on balance, the destruction of the mask's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because the booby trap had already been triggered. It had already caused the now no longer extant. I think I'm right in saying Order of the Griffin to actually are they? There might be. I need to check back my notes. But anyway, that's what caused the raid on the Forlorn Temple. That's how the Order of the Griffin knew where to look for the cultists.
Yep.
So it looks like Saragosa turned on them, or well, you can't quite tell exactly at what point he was involved in them. Just you're probably going to need more time to read this whole book because it's a big one. It covers years of his life. It's his entire life in the tower. It covers, but it largely.
Are there any symbols that match the clues that we've been finding?
No, there aren't.
Okay.
No, there aren't.
Check the book for secret compartments.
Okay, give me a perception searching check, please.
Mog, if you'd be so kind as to check this for secret compartments.
Yeah, of course.
You mean sort of like a pocket in the cover?
That kind of thing. If there's something like hidden down, slid inside the spine, that's another good hiding place.
Okay, Mog, you search the book and can find nothing else, nothing concealed, nothing at all hidden in it in any way. There's no secret compartment, there's no hidden notes or anything like that underneath the binding.
Is the book enchanted?
No, it's not.
Enchantment.
Is there an indentation in the book for the amulet?
No, but there is a picture of the amulet.
Oh, okay. Is there any further explanation as to its nature or places where it's...
No, it just refers to the fact that he was having a third amulet made for my son.
Oh.
Which means there are 3 in total.
Yes, indeed.
Or more. I mean, you never know. Like later in the book, it could go, I'm having a 4th one made, but you now know there's at least 3 of these amulets out there.
We knew that there was 3 before because we chose at Cullen's behest to leave his son's amulet in that tomb and not bring it with us. I mentioned at the time that there might very well be a lock here that requires 3 of them.
You said 2 at the time because you didn't You only knew
his wife also had one.
Ah, you did, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you found his wife's tomb first. So yes, you did know about 3, and you've left that one.
Yeah. Just when we were talking about sci-fi and fantasy series from being a kid, Mysterious Cities of Gold with amulets that opened things.
Ah, yes,
That,
yes, I remember that one.
That's another very big influence on me. So that kind of imagery really sticks in my head.
Yeah. It's animated, wasn't it, if I remember
Oh,
right?
indeed, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so...
French, Japanese.
You realise that searching through the books so far has burnt through a lot of the time you said you were going to be... you said about 4 hours?
Prepping.
Hang on a second.
I mean, to read this entire book is going to take hours because it covers about 25 years of your life.
I suppose you haven't spent those stunt points there, Louise. You could make it a speedy search just to take a bit of the time off.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't going to be a very long search anyway because
No.
it's only a book to check, so the search only took you about a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
But you making a speedy search, you can do it in 10 seconds.
Yeah. Sweet. I'm an expert. Rawr.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get the Vardo set up as part of the ruse.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll get Sister Erin and Baden sorted.
Okay. Sister Erin and Baden are a bit relieved that they're not going to have to go into this deadly dungeon they've been hearing about. They are, however, not entirely chuffed to ribbons about the fact that they're going to be left out here on their own because they don't trust anybody here except you guys.
It's alright, I'm going to leave them one of my bottles of wine and a candle.
Are you sure you want to leave this pair a bottle of wine in a candle?
I did throw out the idea that the tower defences could have been activated by premarital sex.
you mean Guy the butler set them off because he was not having any of that
He
going on.
did say that, didn't he?
He actually did, yeah. He actually did say something along those lines.
But that would be in the servants' quarters.
That would be in the servants' quarters.
He doesn't hold any truck with it anywhere at all.
It doesn't seem to, does it?
They're in there making the place into a knocking shop. Right.
Okay, so you set the Vardo up, you prep your equipment, you gather the rest of your equipment that you'd left in the Vardo when you came into the tower. You decide what you're taking with you. I'm going to say you managed to get 2 hours worth of rest, so you can have 2 hours worth of magic mana regeneration.
How much does 2 hours give us?
You're going to make me look that up, aren't you? So there's hardly anything left in these rules I can't remember off the top of my head now, and you've managed to find one of the things I can't.
There's a resting section somewhere.
There is a resting
healing
section,
stunts, healing.
Well,
action.
at the very least, that arcane tent will look after them for 8 hours.
Yes. Let me just have a look. Basic rules. Oh, that's not the basic rules I thought it was. Okay. Fuck it, we'll look at the main rule book then. Pulling this up on my other screen. Bear with me a second.
It'll be on the magic section, I think, is where
I
it's at.
think it's in the magic section, yes.
It's kind of weird.
It's taking a little time to open this PDF, so talk amongst yourselves, by all means.
I'm pretty certain that it only regenerates with a full night's rest.
No, it regenerates completely with a full night's rest. You definitely get some back for every hour of rest, but I can't remember whether it's 1 point or D6 or whether it's connected to your willpower or what, so that's what I need to check.
I'm just going to disappear for a sec.
Okay, no problem.
I'm going to do a toilet run as well at this point.
Okay, you can quickly do that while I find this information. Chapter 5, Magic. Arcane focuses, magic points, that'll be it. Arcane and magic talents, learning spells, magic points. Each spell costs in magic points. This must be paid when it casts. Spells, no, spell power. Regaining magic points. Here we go. A mage can regain spent magic points by resting. For each full hour of rest or meditation, you gain back 1d6 plus your willpower.
Oh, nice. Okay.
If you manage 8 hours of uninterrupted rest, you will get all your magic points back, regardless of dice rolls.
Right.
So
Okay,
I said you have 2 hours after you'd read what you've read in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2d6 plus your willpower twice. It's plus double your willpower. You know what I mean. It's 1d6 plus your willpower, then that again.
That's way more than what I spent because they were only 1 point spells.
Were they? Right, okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was healing touch for 1 point. It was just to see if they kind of went ow, or if the skin blistered up or something.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so you've managed to regenerate. Don't forget you'd also cast the arcane tent as well, of course.
That's a point, yes.
But that will definitely still be more than enough.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it should have been. So it was 2d6 plus your willpower.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 1d6 plus your willpower each hour. So that's 2d6 plus double your willpower. So we'll take the first roll there, which is 13.
Oh, double the right. Sorry, not 2d. Yeah. It should have been 2d6 plus 8.
Right. Okay. So 17. 17
Right.
back.
That is again still more than enough to deal with.
Okay. So your energy is fully regenerated. You've left Sister Erin and Baden in the Vardo with all the security measures set and ready to take people's arms off if they try and break in, and the arcane tent for them to hide in if need be. You leave them.
Just looking them up and down, leave enough space for Palo.
Okay, so and then you return to meet up with the mistress and the master. As you enter the tower again, you're met by Di the butler. It stands there, sort of slightly hunched as he does, looking slightly towards the floor. He looks gradually up at you and says, "The mistress and the master have asked that you meet with them in the library. Please follow me." And then he begins to clamber up the stairs towards the library.
Did he come all the way down to the Vardo? Did you, sir?
No, I said as you went back into the tower.
Ah, right.
Right.
You were
Well,
met by-
should we
Were
fix
we
that?
clambering through the window while this happened?
Hang on a second. Should we fix that door before we leave?
Maybe.
Okay, you can do. We'll assume you've done that.
Okay.
You
I would
can-
assume we would have reattached it after we'd got the Vardo out.
Yeah, I would think
We're
so.
not vandals.
Honestly, I've played games where stuff like that comes back to bite you. So
No, I'm going to assume you would have done. As Sean says, you're not vandals, although you sometimes
I've-
play one in role-playing games.
well, let's hang on now. We've done breaking and entering. We've done theft. We've done vandalization.
Well, that's it. You're thieves. You're not vandals. Okay, so you re-enter. You eventually wind up back at the library. That's the important point. Rather than so, Di did leave a little moment there of in the hopes that you would say, "No, we know the way," but you didn't. So he's had to lead you all the way up the spiral stairs to the 4th story again. This poor old bloke.
Well, I was going to say.
Is he
You
though?
know, hang on.
Is he?
I was really suspicious of him being like stitched together,
You were,
And he's-
yes.
and he's one of the people I haven't done the healing spell on.
You haven't? No, you're right.
At some point, as we're heading up, I'll just make as though I'm tripping over and just kind of steady myself on his shoulder.
Okay.
That's why I can still see that blooming room. There's another clone of me in there.
Oh, is there still a clone of you in there? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That would probably explain it then. Hold on a second.
Like I
I'm just
could
gonna
see the
start
corner of it before, and I'm like, why can I see the corner of that? And there's like 3 me's on this map.
Right, I'm just going to start removing bits of you.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I'm
Every
winding
other
up
enemy's attempted that with Mog.
all the people that shouldn't be here, and I'm just getting rid of them. So just give us a second. So just delete. There is quite a bit of lag kicking in now, it has to be said. Took me a while to drag those over. Even moving the map slower than it should be. And delete. Okay. So we're going to theatre of the mind it for a moment. Okay.
Was there any reaction when I tripped over and steadied myself on Die and give him a healing touch?
Well, the first reaction is the
Suddenly
games
feels better.
master realising that what you described isn't really going to be possible because A, you're a dwarf, and B, he's leading you up the
Oh
stairs.
God, right. Okay.
So
Sorry.
you couldn't reach his shoulders, not without a boost. You could.
This is the problem of thinking from the
Rugby
perspective of a
tackles
6'5" man.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So you can grab another part of him, but you're not going to get anything above the waist, really.
Okay, I'll grab his leg.
Okay.
Thank you, Louise.
Okay, so you grab his leg, he yelps and falls over, face first onto the stairs. Ah! Poof. Oh! Oh! Help! Help! I'm being attacked.
What? I didn't mean to like grab it and trip him.
Yeah, but bear in mind he's like 900-year-old and really famous. Right? He's struggling with the stairs at the best of times, and you grab his leg unexpectedly, he's just gone face first.
Not like it's just a laying on of hands.
It's just that bit of dialogue from The Witcher 3 that confuses everyone, where it's like, stop Dijkstra, but you end up breaking his arm.
Okay, so he does actually need some healing. Now you've managed to break his nose by tripping him on the stairs.
I'm so terribly sorry. I just lost my footing briefly. Please do let me tend to you. Okay.
I've got my eyes on you. I don't trust you. Go ahead and make the cast and roll for the... Oh, you did. Sorry.
I did.
Okay, roll to see how much you've healed him by. You can only have taken about D3 damage, so anything over 3 is definitely going to be a full heal.
Oh my God. Right. So, 1d6. Right. So I mean, previously I've always just been using one what you call it, 1 point of magic, and therefore 1d6 worth of healing.
1d6 will be enough. He's not at... Yep, 3 points. That's going to be enough to fully heal him. So his nose stopped bleeding, and it wasn't actually broken. He just sort of busted. It was a bit of blood. He stopped yelling. He's
terribly sorry.
kind of giving you a stern look, though. Yeah, dirty look. I have my eye on you, little girl. As he continues up the stairs, you can hear him muttering, "This is why I don't think children should be allowed around old people. Children should be seen and not heard." He glares back at you.
Does he mean heard and not seen?
Probably. It probably means locked up and forgotten about, actually, given how grumpy he is.
So there was no adverse effect when he was healed?
No, none at all.
Damn it, none of these people are undead.
They're not. Don't sound so disappointed.
Damn it!
He just wants something to smite in the name of Palor.
Yes, absolutely.
So Gora does. I shouldn't say he, should I?
I kind of feel like if any of them had been undead, we would have worked it out by now, because they'd been given Margot wide berth given a new tattoo.
If they knew what it meant.
I suppose.
What is your new tattoo? Just refresh my memory.
Hang on, I can't quite remember the wording, but it gives me a bonus against the undead. Let me check.
Is it +2 to hit or something? Is it Hunter, Mark of the Hunter?
I can't remember. Something like that. It is Bane Mark, which gives me a +2 bonus to attack and damage when fighting a class of creature, and the one I took was undead.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Oops, there.
That's quite a good one.
Pick the wrong character.
Absolutely.
I thought it seemed on theme.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so enter. excuse me, entering the library, you see that the master and mistress are waiting for you there. Glancing around, you can see that there is nobody else in here at the moment, although I do
Apart from
realise
Lyra.
I have left Lyra there, which I get rid of. Right. Thank you very much, Di. You may return to your duties, the mistress says, and you can actually see the butler's shoulders sag a bit. My duties, mistress. My duties which take me back to the ground floor. Those duties, mistress. Yes, indeed, Di. If you'd just like to return to your normal duties. Oh, good. Yes, that's what. He wanders off. He's going. That's what I want. I have to climb these fucking stairs.
Yeah, they should install an elevator in this
They
place.
really should have.
Service with a smile.
Ever since you guys got here, he's just climbed stairs one way or the other.
It'll be fit as a butcher's dough. You know, that's what the dumb wait is for.
Yes. She just looks around to make sure the library is empty. She says the apprentices are all busy with their studies. We have... Oh, that's a point. Some of them aren't alchemists. Actually, no. The apprentices are all having lunch. We have excused ourselves temporarily, but can't be long, otherwise they will realise there is something amiss. So, if you would be so kind as to follow us, please, and then they disappear through this northeastern door.
This one over here.
Northwestern.
Northwestern door, you are quite right, yes.
That I can't get through. Hang
But
on.
you can't.
Hey! It
There
didn't
you go,
work.
the mistress has opened the door for
Yay!
you. Some more blinding light from the fireplace.
It's fine here.
Fine for me.
It's funny,
It
it only
was
seems...
blinding, and then it stopped being blinding when everybody else caught me up.
Yeah.
So it must be something to do with my night vision.
It must be an interaction with your vision, or night vision or something, yes. How odd. Okay, so the mistress then opens this door. She says, this
Fair
is the study from which one of the books was stolen last night.
That's terrible. I can't believe someone would do such a thing.
Indeed, strange, is it not? But please, follow me within. Do-do-do-do.
Is the door open?
The door should be open. I'll just double check that it
I
actually
can't
is.
imagine it would be, because I didn't actually go through.
No, it should be now, because she's just opened it. So let me just check the
Okay.
dynamic lighting rules. Oh, no, look, it still hasn't fucking opened. Yeah, yet another... there we go. Lock door
Hey.
that won't unlock itself.
What the buttons is going on now? I can't move me. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so you enter the study. The study itself is a small room that only Margaret recognises. There is a desk in the centre of it with books, one less book than there used to be, and scrolls, inkwells, and so forth on it. There are several small scroll cases and bookcases around, and there is a locker. However, the mistress ignores all of these and heads over to the wall. And I'll just drop
Is there a
back on
passage in here that I didn't find?
Yes.
Oh!
I
This
honestly
wall
thought
has
you
a
were going
secret.
to, yeah, but it was the only room I think you were in that you didn't check the walls.
Oh, you hid that well.
Thank you. She walks over to the wall and says, beyond you will find a staircase which descends several floors to the dungeons beneath. Be careful. There are many things down there which will attempt to destroy you. If you are ready, then follow me.
Walk this way, she says.
Not this way.
Really, if I could walk that way, I'd go see a doctor.
And as she says that, she pulls a hidden lever. Or she has her husband pull a hidden lever, which I think might be under the desk. And as she does so,
Oh my goodness!
yes, and as she does so, this wall slides aside. Beyond, you should be able to see it by now.
A gigantic S.
It's a gigantic, I guess. Yes, it's a large chamber, well, largish chamber,
Yeah.
with a flight of stone stairs descending into darkness. She says, from here, these stairs descend all the way to the basements beneath the tower. Follow me.
Following.
And on that note,
No, it's not. It's not 6 yet.
I just thought that was a good place to leave it, but we can carry on a little bit longer if you want to. On that
If we
note, we
want
will
to.
continue.
Of course, we want to continue.
Okie dokie,
Just
let's do
5
that.
more minutes.
All right, okay.
Unless you're sort of genuinely ill or have other responsibilities you need to go to, it's like we're going to wring every possible moment of this out.
In which case, how
Unless
dare
you're
you?
dead or we find somebody better, keep games mastering.
Oh, why are we here? How did we? What?
You
No,
what,
no,
what?
we're in the northern
wait,
stairwell.
You're in the
We're-
northern stairwell. You're
Oh,
now
right.
one level further down. As you descend the stairs, you find yourself in a room the same size as the one above it, but here the stairs that you came down, there is another set of stairs which descend deeper still into the tower.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
You can see
So
what?
what's this secret door over here?
Yeah.
What secret door would that be? She says as she leads you past the second floor.
Oh, the very second they leave us from wherever it is that they're going to, we're going to be straight back up there.
Bring back up the stairs.
Right.
Hold on, is this a trap? Are they trying to just lock us down in the basement?
And Louise, you can have a conviction. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Right,
on, I'm
this
going the wrong
this
way.
map's this.
where the heck are we?
You're no way yet.
Gone
Hang
down.
on, I'm just trying to set up. Like I said, I'm struggling with that lag here. We're having a bit
Right.
at the
Okay.
moment as well. So just, bear with me. Don't get too excited.
There we are.
Hang on.
There's another one there as well.
Isn't
You
there?
shouldn't be seeing anything yet. I've moved you.
We're right here, Brian.
Yeah.
You fucking shouldn't be.
We're in the same room, a
Right,
floor further down.
I gathered that.
This is the floor. Yeah, this is the floor where the wager board is.
Yes.
And I was checking this wall. We were all checking this wall, like really a hell of a lot. The night we got attacked, like when we got attacked by the
We're
Methods.
being a bit meta. Let's just go
Yes.
down the stairs.
Yeah.
You are a touch. Yes. So.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I did try and stop you twice, but
Sorry.
me stopping you. You're just wanging on. Right. Okay. So she descends to the
The
ground
downside of
floor.
enthusiasm.
You find yourselves in the ground floor. The chamber here doesn't seem to have stairs going any further down, is the odd thing. You seem to have found yourselves in a dead end. But the mistress is checking the west wall. See, I got it right this time. Let me have a look. Okay. Underneath these stairs here, she reaches into a concealed cupboard, pulls a lever, and this wall here opens up. Ta-da. This wall here opens up. Open the fuck up.
Should we be on that map on the ground floor?
I didn't move you there this time, did I? Do you know what? I've moved you to every other map too early, and I forgot to move you to this one at all.
Ah, there we go.
There you go. So, opening it up, you find yourselves on the ground floor. The mistress
That's going back up
is
again.
not going any lower than this. She says at the bottom
Okay.
of those stairs, you will enter the dungeons beneath. Don't.
I'm just going to lock the door behind you.
I'm just going to lock the door behind you. Fucking absolutely. I'm just going to check and see if there's anything else I need to tell you about this room. So let me just have a look. Level ground. There we go. So it's 7 and 8. Secret stairway. Ah, actually no, it's not. You're not through that yet. She says this is the final doorway. I'll just drag you back. My mistake. This is the final doorway. Unfortunately, there is a slight problem with it.
It's
She
locked.
reaches under the stairs and presses a button, and a single panel slides away. Nowhere near large enough to get through. It doesn't open the door either. The panel itself is only about half a metre square, and on the other side of it is a key impression. It says the dungeons are beyond there, a flight of stairs leads down.
A key impression.
Mm.
As in the amulet shape.
Do you know? It is. It
Click.
is indeed the amulet. Yeah. She says, I happened to notice you were wearing an amulet similar to this shape when you were
I
around.
wasn't wearing it.
Well, somebody must have been, or she wouldn't have known how to get you down here. I happened to notice that you, one of you, you've got two of them. Somebody's wearing one.
We just have to be flashing it about. Okay.
I wouldn't say flashing it about, but the best place to hang an amulet is around your neck. That's what I thought. If you insert that amulet, I suspect that the long secret entrance to the sealed dungeons beneath. She is actually wearing one herself. I seem to remember I mentioned it when you first arrived. So,
Go on then.
you put the amulet in, you turn it, exactly the same as the secret laboratory underneath Saragosa's mansion.
Yep.
Unlike that, there's a massive explosion and everybody... No. You put it in...
Rocks fall.
Everybody
Rocks
loses.
fall, everybody bizarrely survives. They miss everyone. You put the key in, twist it, and the stone door grinds open on the far side, revealing a room about the size of the study, 4 floors up, except all that is here, he says, double checking that he's right.
It's a giant S on the floor.
It's a giant S on the floor. Well, you and them giant S's.
Belongs to Saragosa.
Saragosa, yes. That's just the symbol for a secret door. That's not much I can do. Well, I suppose I could just use a standard door. You always spot the secret doors from the wrong side anyway. I mustn't be laying the lines quite as precisely as I thought I was.
Get that one several floors up.
It's part of the fun.
I suppose it is, actually. I mean, you have in the past actually spotted places that were worth looking by going, what's that? So, yes, the mistress isn't coming any further than this. She says, keep your amulet with you. It's the only way you'll get back through this door when I lock it.
Okay.
You going in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hand both amulets to her.
Okay, as you enter, go on, get in there, and arrange yourself in any marching order again, please, from this end as the front up to this end as the... So south is the front, north is the back. And once you're all
You might
in...
need to move down another row.
Yeah. Once you're all in, the mistress locks the door behind you. You can see the stone grinds shut.
Before we go anywhere,
Yes.
I realise, you did just say about the meta thing there. Would our characters not realise that the width of the study and secret staircase area and the width of this area and the staircase area?
Do you know, in all seriousness, I think you would, yes.
There's still another 2 empty ones above
There
you.
is, isn't there?
I think you would probably have figured that out, if I'm entirely honest.
If we
definitely
didn't,
would, given
I'd be
that
kind
she
of
was
meddling
climbing
away
up.
from it.
Yes, I think that's right.
Like,
I think if you didn't
definitely
realise
would.
there was definitely 2 rooms that they've walked you straight past,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that would be mettering away from it much more than knowing that there is mettering. So yeah, I think you're right.
So what I'm fully inclined to do is to wait until she's gone and until we've got a clear run at it, and then head back up and check for, because I mean the secret passage, the door, that's in the very same place, isn't it, as it was in the study?
It is, yes, exactly the same place.
And I think both myself and Sean, was it, you pinged that area on one of the floors.
I spotted it on the...
Yeah, I think we all have. Yeah. So let's close it and wait.
Okay, you close the secret, or rather she closes the secret door and you hear it lock again. How long are you going to wait?
Listen for her walking away.
It's a
Stone wall, you might not hear
door,
it.
so you might not. I'm going
Uh.
to make you make a perception hearing test with a target number. I think that's going to be a touch more than just challenging, I must admit. So that would be hard. The target number's 15 then.
Bollocks.
Oh, hello. What's it doing there? Okay. That's new. Let me see. Missed it.
14, 5 points of stunts.
As a fill.
Wow.
I did say the target number was
You did-
15 because it's hard.
Oh,
to
I
hear
didn't
15.
hear that bit, sorry.
Yeah.
Might have
Not me
been
either.
muttering a bit there. Yeah, so none of you can really hear through this thick star. Right, I'm wrong. Adrienne, fucking batty as there, she's heard.
I mean, we are in her element here. This is quite a shadowy room.
True, I'll give you that. Okay, so for quite some time, Adrienne's like shaking her head and whispering she's still there. She hasn't gone anywhere. After about 10 minutes, she says, I can hear her moving up the stairs now.
Do we want to give her another 10?
Oh,
Just
definitely.
to make sure.
But the thing is, she did say that the apprentices would become suspicious if they weren't back at the lunch.
Here's a question for you. Can I have more than one arcane tent active?
Ooh, that's a good question. I am minded to say probably, but I'm going to double check that. It's a companion spell, isn't it? Under
It is.
protection.
And don't forget it's on my sheet
All right, okay.
for easiness.
Probably going to be faster for me to get to it here, actually. So that would be protection, arcana, arcane tent.
That most dangerous of phrases comes to mind. There's nothing that says I can't.
There doesn't appear to be, in which case I feel that there would be something if he couldn't. So yes, I think it can.
Right, and mirroring exactly what we did when we spent the night in the portal room,
Yes.
I throw this up. I'll know.
Sorry, that I kind of threw
I will cast this, and if anybody comes through it, back down those stairs, we'll be aware of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so make a arcane tent casting roll, please. That's a pass. So you throw up another arcane tent, which sparks into life and appears in this secret chamber, and then you are attempting to get out using the.
Yeah.
Did I like the way I said attempting there? Did I give everyone a moment's terror? Yeah, it's okay. The door does respond. You put the thing in and twist, and it swings back open. Which floor would you like to go back up to? Is the question. You're on the ground floor.
Making sure that ahead is clear. Mog, do you want to go on ahead with your cloak of shadows?
Yeah.
And
That's exactly what I was going to suggest.
Of course.
That's
Sorry.
We've been very on the same wavelength.
We have, haven't we?
You have, actually, yes.
There was somebody at the door there. I was gone for a couple of minutes.
All right, sorry, no problem. They were just throwing up an arcane tent to essentially use it as an alarm if anybody comes the other way up the stairs whilst they go and investigate. Which level did you say you'd like to go and investigate? You're on the ground floor at the moment.
Just go one up for now.
Yeah, I was going to say, just one up for now, and then I'll have a look at that wall.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the next one, maybe.
Okay, so
Just
one
make
up
sure
from there would lead you to this one.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there she is.
Ah!
Where?
Yeah, she's not actually there. She'll just move
Oh,
on.
right.
So there's about two of her on here now. So I'll just get a shot of...
This is the one I was
can't get rid of
initially
it.
trying to work out how the heck you got into from the outside, wasn't it?
No, that was...
Was that the next floor up?
I think so. Yes.
No, I don't think it was. No, it was
Hang
definitely
on a
this
second.
floor.
Hang on a second.
Because I went up another floor from the outside and still couldn't find a way in, so went up one more.
Ah, yeah, you're right. This is the one that, as Patrick mentioned, you were trying to get in to from
Yeah.
Through that southern wall, yeah.
through the southern wall from the altar room.
Doing what the mistress did, she went somewhere under the stairs to pop open a panel.
That was on a different level, but yes,
It was.
It might very well work.
Yeah.
Let me just
I was
bring
just
up...
doing a search there to see if I could see anywhere in the wall where it looked different or anything.
Okay, let me just bring up the description here. Okay.
There was a lever under the desk
Yeah.
to open that one, and then there was a something under the stairs to open a panel at the bottom one. I'm inclined to think there is some sort of activation switch here to do the same.
Because you're pretty confident that there is a secret door here, I'm going to reduce the search target number. So if you could give me a perception searching room, please.
Yeah, I already did it.
Ah, right. Okay. Let me just switch panels back.
17.
17, yes. Okay, yes, you have found... it's oddly enough, this one's not a lever under the stairs, just to throw you off a bit. This one is a pressure-activated panel in the
Ooh. Fancy.
west wall. You depress on it, which takes a little bit of effort. You eventually hear the click, and then the door starts to grind open again. Hold on.
They're not very good, these people. They're doing smooth secret doors.
Yes.
I hope it's not like concerningly loud.
They are concerningly loud, which does make you wonder if anybody upstairs might have heard you. Just need to switch myself onto the dynamic lighting layer and get rid of this. Ta-da!
Ooh, what is that?
Well, you
Is
will
that
recognise. Go ahead.
From the ghouls, the Ghoul King's pedestal.
It's almost exactly the same. Yes.
What's on the wall?
Yeah. It's
Yes.
A tapestry or something?
there is a tapestry on the south wall as well. So you see the pedestal in the middle, which is that kind of I want to say octagon, 2, 4, 6.
Hexagon.
Hexagon.
Everybody in, close the door. Oh, did we close the door downstairs?
If
Yes.
you wanted to, I'll say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
close
one
that
of these
one.
games masters that's going to say, well, you didn't tell me at the time.
Do we know how to close this door?
It looks like you're just going to have to push it, as far as you can tell.
Can we open it again?
Yes, you've found another secret button on this side that will,
Good.
you hope, will spring it open.
Okay, hang on then. Hang on, let's test it. Callan, if you want to stand outside as you're still in the doorway, we'll make sure we can open it from the inside. If we
Yeah, it's
can't...
going to create more noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morg, have you got any grease?
Not at the moment.
Block of wax?
I've got candles.
Okay, if we melt some candles and kind of lube
Is
up
this
the
because
door...
you want to set something on fire?
Sorry?
Is this because you want to set something on fire?
It is not this... I'm a fire mage. If I want to set something on fire, I have other means of doing that.
You're a pyromaniac, what you are.
Tell you what, right? Why don't we just leave it open for now and guard the door?
No, in case somebody comes back this way, they won't even know we're here.
Nobody's going to come back this way.
No.
I will hold you to those words.
They do sound like they're in the same ballpark as what could possibly go wrong.
They do.
Hang on, if I'm wrong, you can have some of my cheese.
Okay.
Right,
Last time
I'm
going
gonna
in trees, it didn't
check.
go well. Okay, right. Does this have the spinning colours puzzle?
Yes, you notice on one of the faces you've got a series of pegs and a series of coloured wheels, some of which are in place, some of which are in a pile in the corner. You also
Right.
notice that there is a tapestry which is
Yep.
so dusty you can't clearly make out what's on the tapestry at
Oh,
all.
hang on,
Alright,
hang on,
I'm
hang on,
dusting it.
hang on. Don't dust it. Don't dust it.
Okay.
Is it? Does it definitely look like your average house dust, or does it look like?
Is it like millions of mimics?
No. What I'm thinking is it like the remains of something? Is that really a tapestry, or is it a what you call it?
A
Like
shroud.
a shroud? Because they mentioned that a whole lot of people here were cremated. Is it dust or is it ash?
That's a good question. I'm just trying to figure out what to ask you to roll to give you a straight answer.
Dexterity, domestic cleaning.
Probably not that. I'm going to hazard a guess.
Intimidation?
Okay, it
Determined
looks
to intimidate thing.
intimidation. I'm going to say yeah. Okay, it does look just like normal dust over time. There are cobwebs and stuff. It's as if nobody's really bothered dusting it for a long time.
Oh, okay.
It's
Is there matching dust elsewhere in the room?
I mean, yes, the room is a bit dusty. It's not dusty enough that it suggests nobody's ever in here. It suggests it's dusty enough that nobody ever cleans in here.
Okay.
You can just about make out what's on the other side of the, not the other side, what's on the tapestry, but you can't make it out like perfectly clearly. But it does appear to be, a picture of somebody scrying, as far as you can tell.
Ooh.
Okay. Check behind the tapestry.
Okay. So you check behind the tapestry, and on the other side, excuse me, on the other side of the tapestry, what you see is a solid wall is on the other side of that
Okay,
tapestry.
the back of the tapestry.
Right, okay. It looks the same as, well, it looks as you would expect the back of a tapestry that has that picture on it to
Yeah.
look.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Checking along where it's hung. Anything tucked in?
Nothing at all. No.
Okay. In which case, by all means, Mog, dust it off. Let's see if we can get a better look at it.
Well, that's one way of doing it.
Entire tapestry
It
disintegrates.
got in my nose. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make such noise.
No, that's okay. Okay, so
No,
as
that was in character, not out of character.
Oh, right, sorry. That's 3 times in 2 game sessions I've gotten confused about that.
Adrian chimes in. I brought my drum kit.
Okay, so what happens as you dust the tapestry is not something you expected. What happens instead is there is a sudden blast of flame from the tapestry that engulfs the room.
Jeez!
So let's all have I think there's a saving throw for this spell. There is dexterity acrobatics.
I've somehow just lost my browser.
Oh, okay.
How convenient.
I'm coming back.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so the target number you're all aiming for is 13.
Oh, bugger.
If you fail to get 13, then the sudden and unexpected fiery blast that
That I
engulfs
was
the room,
right in front of.
that you're right in front of, yes, It's probably why you failed.
One of the few times we didn't check for traps.
I know. Oh shit! Now I've lost my browser.
Catch 'em.
I did say I was checking for traps, but nobody listened, so...
Did you say you were checking for traps in here? and you
Yeah, I
catch it?
did. That's why there's 2 rolls further up together that are both search rolls.
Okay, tell me what the search for traps one was, would you?
It was also a 17. Oddly, it was the exact
We were
one. No,
both
it wasn't the
17.
exact same roll, but yeah, it was a 17.
Okay, so that's exactly the number you needed to spot the spell ward that's woven into the thing, so you haven't detonated the trap.
Sneezed sideways.
Yeah, you're about to when you spot something that you think, okay, that looks like an arcane symbol. You call Gora over and point it out. It's a spell ward, which means if you touch this thing, it's going to detonate a spell.
Right.
So you suddenly become aware of the fact that the tapestry is an arcane trap of some description. That the pedestal has one of the puzzles similar to the one you saw in the Ghoul's Lair on it, and that you think, you might be wrong, but you think somebody's coming back down those stairs.
Close the door.
Ah, shit.
Close the door.
And on that note, we will leave it till next week.
Oh no.
This is why I said to close the door.
Indeed so. Okay,
Fine,
so...
I owe you some cheese.
So thank you very much for joining us this evening to watch us play our little game. Hope you've enjoyed it. Next week we'll pick up from here when the party will find out just who's coming down those stairs and just how angry they might be about the party poking around where they're not supposed to be poking around. If, that is, it's even a member of the Tower Entourage at all, or if it's someone or something much more dangerous. So do take care, stay safe. We'll be playing again next week, so do join us for the session then. In the meantime, take care and we will see you then.